All right. Stephen Rumbaum really needs no introduction, but he's been a fixture. You kind of look like a fixture today. He's got a fever. He's very cranky. I don't blame him. So if he yells at you, that's why. Steve has been at every single Hope conference. Is that correct? Sadly true, he says. And we give him 3 hours because he's kind of runs long in the mouth, but it's all information for 3. No, it's 3 hours of really good information about why privacy is dead. But what's the new title this time? There we go. You read the title, Steve Rumbaum. I'll get you some sunglasses. No, seriously, we need that, or the cameras won't. Okay. You're on stage. Get used to it.
I literally can't see past the face. Hello. Can you hear me back there? All right, so welcome to everything you've wanted to know about Pokemon. I want to thank Hope for inviting me again. This is the only seminar that I arrange an entire month's schedule around. We are going to be talking in large part today about keeping information open, keeping it from being filtered, helping you to determine how you can get. You think I won't, huh? Oh, now you'll clean them. Great. No, I don't need them. All right, let's get moving. Those of you who have attended my talk before know I do it like a speed freak because, frankly, I both as an investigator and as a citizen that cares about this sort of stuff, I live, eat, and breathe this topic, and it's very tough for me to know what slides to take out. Each slide I take out is like killing a little child. So there are almost always too many slides. Last year, I was shocked. Everyone was shocked. We actually finished it on time for a half-hour Q&A. Got my life threatened during Q&A, but that was okay. So hopefully this year we'll finish on time. Nobody will threaten my life. The addition this year is individuality and talking about bias online, talking about how information is filtered and refiltered before it gets to you. And I have to tell you, this is, frankly, at this point, much more important than privacy. Privacy is really dead. Privacy, there's almost no point talking about it. I'm going to talk about it because some of you, to the extent that I can tell, how many of you have never heard this talk? Holy guacamole. Okay, like a third of the room. All right, well then, it's a good thing I left some of it in. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to New York. I understand about 80% of you are not from New York, and I want you to know that we are a warm, loving, giving community. I love that everybody laughs and gets the joke. Actually, go to the wrong place and we're a taking community, but I want you all to feel comfortable. I want to ease your mind. You are constantly being protected. First of all, we have thousands of surveillance cameras there only for your safety, only for your safety. These surveillance cameras are fixed, they're mobile, they're at checkpoints, they're at choke points. You will see them everywhere. A lot of them are civilian cameras that have agreed to provide feeds to law enforcement. There are right now 11,000 cameras and growing. In the city, there's about 700,000 cameras. 11,000 of them are linked into law enforcement now. Not just fixed cameras, but helicopters, cars. This chopper right here with that little bubble there can see for 2 miles in any light condition, look into a car. If you're doing something wrong in a car, keep that in mind. New York City, NYPD now has a facial recognition unit, so help me. It's actually what it's called. This is the facial recognition unit. They have a bunch of guys like Adrian Monk doing the photo thing. I just love that photo. But this is actually the facial recognition unit. It's a real thing. There are hundreds of ALPR cameras. If you don't know what an ALPR camera is, you will by the end of this talk. Not only do these cameras go out 24/7, 365 and film license plates, 60,000 per hour, 60,000 per hour, but they keep the data. They share the data with other companies like Vigilant, which we're going to talk about. So far, New York has a buffer of 4 years. So if you forget where you parked your car, not a problem. We can help you out. These are some of the ALPR cameras. They're the rear. Oh, no, this was my favorite part. Okay, well, it doesn't work. It does work? Okay, never mind. I won't mess with it. Anyway, it's the two forward-facing cameras on the rear of the vehicle. Now, we are much more honest. We're not like the Philadelphia Police Department. We don't have unmarked vans with a little Google sign on it. Philadelphia Police Department, honest to God, did this. God bless them. I love that. And you can see the little ALPR camera up in the front. But Philly, about 90 days ago, took a bunch of unmarked vans, put Google on them, and started driving around filming everybody. I mean, God bless them. I wish I'd thought of that. You know, we have easy pass readers everywhere. So we know where your car is, even when it's not driving through a bridge or a tunnel. We know where it is. Oh, by the way, I want to thank Puking Monkey for that. Mr. Monkey, we appreciate that. Or if I can call you Puking, you know. Anyway, here's an example. That's one of Puking Monkey's photos over there. 42nd and 8th. This is not one of his photos. This is about a block away from us now. If you look at the little readers, those are Easy Pass readers. And Puking Monkey actually went around with a vehicle and all the hardware necessary to determine that these were Easy Pass readers. We have Link New York City grabbing data off of every phone, whether you've registered with them or not. Link New York City, by the way, is operated by CityBridge. CityBridge, sometimes you have to, like Deep Throat said, you got to follow the money. CityBridge is operated, owned in part by Intersection, and Intersection, of course, major shareholder Google. So as you walk down the street, Google is going, here's Bob. This is what a Link New York City kiosk looks like. You should know this is the coverage of Link New York City, and there's on top of this going to be another 1,700 Link New York City kiosks. What happened? Oh, crap. Oh, okay, there it is. That's this area of Manhattan, and that's exactly this area of Manhattan. Penn Station is right in the middle. So you are covered here. And just so you know, they grab MAC addresses, IP addresses that you check, which websites users visit. This is in their TOS, where they scroll and click on those websites, how long they stay on them, what they search for. They also grab personally identifiable information according to their privacy policy, which also includes your name, your email address, stuff like that. And, huh? Okay, so let me say two things. I don't know, and no heckling during my talk. You got to save it for the Q&A. I would never get through all of this if I responded to people shouting out stuff. I will be here tonight. I'll be here all day tomorrow. If I don't answer it during Q&A, no heckling. The only reason why I'm not going to be covering Link New York City in huge detail is because I actually pay attention to 2600's tweets, and they announced the Link New York City talk is on again. So come back to this room tomorrow at 11 o'clock, this very room, and attend the actual talk on this topic. But Link New York City is a big deal, and it is a very, very good example of where constant, all-pervasive, always present data valence is going. This is a very, very important topic. Go to their talk tomorrow. And I don't want you to think we have all this information out there for your protection, that we're not paying attention to it. There's something called the Domain Awareness System, which is the NYPD's, person of interest control room. And these are real pictures from their screens, more real pictures from their screens. This is a real deal. These photos, by the way, are going to be up on the internet. One of them isn't, one of them is. So welcome to New York. where we treat everybody equally. This is actually our mayor being cuffed, which I hope to see happen again in about 2 months during the scandal. And anyway, now get lost. Okay, welcome to the talk. Look, I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I've been sick for a couple of days. When I'm sick, my mind, you don't want to know about my mind. So, why should you care about this talk? And now we're going to start moving very quickly. First of all, if you are, and by the way, I'm hugely happy to say we have more than 50 investigators and law enforcement at the conference this time. I'm the education chairman of the Fraternal Order of Investigators. It is a no-brainer that law enforcement should come to this conference, not just to learn, but to meet people. You know, hackers have this horrendously bad image. So do police, unfortunately, right now. And you all need to meet each other. You need to have a little cross-pollination of information. We have 50 people at this event. They're the ones that on their attendee badge have the little radioactive thing in the middle of the O in hope. That's not a joke. We put it on there because there's some FOI-only events, and we knew you'd feel they were radioactive. But this talk, weapons familiarization for law enforcement and security people, this is a critical component of risk management. This cartoon really says it all. In this corner, you have routers and hardware and software, and in this corner, you have Dave. And it's true. If you can sucker Dave into giving you a password or to circumvent all the security that you've put in, you're in. You know, that's the Mitnick method. So this is very, very important because a lot of what I'm going to be showing you here is social engineering and pretexting stuff. Digital officer safety, there are people out there targeting you. I'm a good PI, most PIs are good PIs. Mike Ehrmantraut is a thing. There are a few Mike Ehrmantrauts out there. So it's an important issue. But, and let me preface this slide by saying something. I say it every hope when I get up here. I'm a little schizophrenic about coming here and giving this talk. On one hand, I'm an investigator. I use this information to do my job better, not, for those of you who know me, not in a nefarious way, not in a privacy invading or intrusive way. I use it to know more about witnesses before I interview them. I use it to help target bad guys, genuinely bad guys. And if they're not bad guys, it helps me find out they're not bad guys. You know, so when I see people sharing their whole lives on Facebook and on Google and posting a gazillion photos and putting up 12-year-old kids' photos that I would never get any other way and that sort of thing, you know, my feeling is, thank you, I appreciate it. You know, you've done me a big favor as an investigator. On the other hand, as a citizen, this nonstop oversharing of data creeps me out. It creeps me out, it bothers me. The vast majority of what you folks share, you don't realize what kind of harm you're doing to yourselves, and we're going to talk about that today. So I'm of two minds. I know if I convince you all to share less, to Facebook less, to Google less, to keep your lives a little private, all right, I'm going to lose a little bit as an investigator, but I think in general I'm going to gain an enormous amount. And the purpose of this talk, more than anything, is to talk to you about what's going on so you can address it. I have very, very strong political views. These political views, I can assure you, are not the same as most of the people in this room. I don't tell people what to think. I hope, tell people a few things to think about, and that's my attitude towards politics. So, why should you care? 3 felonies a day. 3 felonies a day is a book, but it's also a thing. You could be out there breaking the law, doing things you don't even know about, and you're going to get targeted. You're going to get targeted even though you're an innocent good guy. Changed attitudes about dissent. You know, when I was a kid, it used to be the Democrats were the liberal guys, the Republicans were the Nixonian guys, and it really was the way to bet. Now you have 8 years of a Democratic president who has been more repressive, more intrusive than any Republican that came before him, at least in my lifetime. He makes Nixon seem like an amateur. So you need to be aware that dissent is not accepted or appreciated in a lot of quarters these days. For example, the Obama White House asking for email addresses of people who disagreed with some of the stuff they were doing. Operation Choke Point, we're going to talk about that. I mean, types of businesses being targeted. Some of them I understand from a political view, like ammunition sellers, things like that. But first of all, ammunition sellers are not breaking the law. But things like cable box sellers, you'll see the list. Especially, I want you to pay attention, because once you put information out there, you can't change your mind. You've done it under terms of service that you've surrendered that information. You can't get it back. You can't put the genie back in the lamp. Commercial bias. We're going to talk for a second about how even cable companies are now building automated profiles of their subscribers based on their credit bureau stuff and also on their social networking stuff. And they are deciding who to treat nicely during a service call. I mean, they don't treat anybody nicely during a service call, but who to treat, if you can imagine, even worse. You get less time if you're on their blacklist. And a lot of that is from social networking, and I've got the information here. Self-censorship. Look, if you become afraid to post, if you become concerned, what are people going to think? You start censoring your posts. And then eventually, it's an insidious thing, you start censoring the way you think. I can't talk about this. I can't do anything about this. Why even screw with it? And honestly, in my opinion, that's pretty much the end of America. Not to be overly dramatic, not to throw, any more hyperbole out there than I need to, but once you start self-censoring, that's a bad thing for America. Modified news feeds. That's something we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you examples of that. News and information, shh, whoever that is, be quiet. News and information is being fed to you based on who the feeder thinks you are. 61% of the time, that's Facebook. I'm going to show you some stats out there. People are not getting their news through traditional sources anymore. Millennials, 18 to 29, don't watch news on TV all that much anymore. They don't take a paper. I mean, I start my day every day standing up in the kitchen with a cup of coffee and 2 newspapers. That's been bred into me. That's in my DNA. Now, mind you, the New York Times skews stuff. The New York Post skews stuff. Every paper has their bias. But it's becoming more and more and more difficult to get primary source data, to get unfiltered data. And after it's been filtered, it's refiltered by Facebook and Google. The New York Times skews their stories. The New York Post skews their stories. And then on top of that, Facebook decides whether you read the New York Times or the New York Post. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about Operation Choke Point for a second. Operation Choke Point, this is from the Washington Post, not a particularly extreme newspaper. Operation Choke Point initiative has been shrouded in secrecy, so named because it strangles the providers of financial services to the targeted industries. What that means is, if you are in an industry that the USG doesn't like so much, they pressure banks to not provide you with financial services. Not just banks. PayPal considers private investigation a high-risk industry. I mean, for the PI maybe, but not for anybody else. Ammunition sales, cable boxes, coin dealers, credit cards, credit repair, dating services, escort services, firearms sales. Whatever you feel about these industries, here's the one thing that all of these industries have in common. They're legal. No government should be able to say these services should not be able to effectively do business because we don't like them. It's a problem. It's a problem. U.S. government now they are developing something called a FICO score for trustworthiness. This is a response to Snowden, of course, and to all the little Snowdens out there. And what they're doing is they're looking at your online activity, they're matching it with other stuff they have, and they are giving you a FICO score for trustworthiness. Based on what you do online, you may not get a job. You may be targeted by law enforcement. It can happen. You can have a random idiot handling your file. FBI checks wrong box, places student on no-fly list. Oops. Not a big deal, right? Got cleaned up right away? Not so much. This girl, who's a Stanford student, who to this day has never been convicted or anything, or even really accused of anything other than looking very, very Arabic, which is a problem now too. She was erroneously nominated for the no-fly list. And when she got erroneously nominated, she had to file a lawsuit, and it took her 7.5 years to get off the no-fly list. She could not finish her studies at Stanford. And by the way, did she attend her trial? No, they put her on the no-fly list. But the government admitted it was a mistake. U.S. Marshal Service, this is from a couple of weeks ago. Try to keep you guys up to date with how you're being screwed. Marshals, innocent people placed on watch lists to meet quota. When they decide which innocent people, it's definitely going to be the innocent people talking, I'm dying to say the word, I won't, talking badly about the government. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. So, at least we have laws to protect us, right? I'm a right-wing guy. I am pro-law enforcement. When things start creeping me out, they're really, really bad. Because I'm one of these people that when you say, wait a second, you're invading all the rights, you're abusing all the rights of these ISIS supporters. Good, good, good. Keep doing it. That's my attitude. If something bothers me, it's really bad. And this is really bad. The FBI was told by their own bosses, the Department of Justice, they're part of the DOJ. The FBI was told by the U.S. Attorney's Office, you can't do this, you need a warrant. They went, yeah, we're going to do it anyway. So they did it. But of course, we have judges to protect us, right? Not so much. Here's a judge who said, and I don't know who can see what, judge refused to throw out a case because there is no objectively reasonable expectation of privacy for your computing activity in your computer at home. Now, let me tell you, honestly, objectively, to use the word, he's right. You have no expectation of privacy. Everything you do is shared and sold and amalgamated and analyzed. And the truth is, you no longer have any objectively reasonable expectation of privacy. That's a fact. But a judge is not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to say that. A judge is not supposed to say that. Okay, I want you to think about this for a second. Not one single warrant for a wiretap was denied in 2015. For this to be a reasonable statistic, we would have to have perfect law enforcement who never make a mistake, who never say, I have probable cause. I have a reasonable expectation I'm going to find something in the house. This informant who gave me the information on Jose over there, oh, good informant. I've used him many times before. No police officer ever made a mistake in this country, according to that statistic. No warrant denied. Go home, do your research. You don't believe me. This is one of the few times Google is your friend. And these are the stats. And by the way, if you're in California, 42% of the warrants are in California. If you're in California, move. If you're in New York, the next biggest, 19%, you already know you should move. Not only do we have crazy warrants, you can't even own a gun here. So anyway, we won't talk about New York. But you're safe. Anyway, those are the stats. Listen, it's funny. I laugh about it, and then not so much. And you shouldn't either. Let's talk about digital news. And I'm giving you all the scary, annoying stuff up front and not going into the tech stuff because hopefully you're going to get more and more freaked out and creeped out at what I'm putting up there, and you'll pay attention to the rest. This is Pew Research, right? Yeah, for some reason we're not getting the top of the slide. But anyway, it's Pew Research, which is an absolutely trustworthy, hugely regarded research firm. And they say more Americans get news online than anywhere else. 50% of Americans, 71% of, 71% of millennials. You can, this is an open analysis on their website. You can go to Pew Research and look at it yourself. Political news, 61% online. Where's the Facebook statistic? Is that the next one? 61% through Facebook. 61% through Facebook. I mean, I just find that astounding. Now, the Wall Street Journal, God bless them, good newspaper, right wing, rah, rah, rah. I'm kidding a little bit, only a little bit. Did a very, very, very clever test. They set up profiles on Facebook, and one profile friended only right-wing guys and girls. I use guys, gender neutral. And the other profile friended only left-wing people. And they went and they put in search terms. They established these profiles. Profile A, clearly left-wing. Profile B, clearly right-wing. All right-wing friends, all right-wing activity. All left-wing friends, all left-wing activity. And they did search terms. Look at the outrageous difference. Facebook feeds you. Facebook's job is not to give you news. Facebook's job is to keep your eyeballs glued to Facebook for as long as they can on as many pages as possible and sell you shit. Okay, I used the word. That's their job, to sell you stuff. They are not there for your betterment or your education. They're there to use your eyeballs to make money. That is the sole reason that Mr. Zuckerberg... What the hell was that? You know, that makes me a little nervous. 10 years ago, last time I heard that, I was being taken out of here. I'm kidding. No cell phones, no radios. Steve is very nervous, very nervous. Okay. So here's the search term, Hillary Clinton. The liberals got rah-rah Hillary Clinton stuff. The conservatives, never Hillary. Hillary is the same as Lucifer. It actually says that. No, it actually says that. Over there, my little pointer doesn't work, but anyway. So that's Hillary. What's the next one? Oh, crap. Okay, it's cutting. Oh, this is ISIS. This is ISIS. You know, problems with repression, and on the other side, kill them all. No, wait, this is ISIS. What was that? Guns. Same thing. ISIS. Over there, you've got the liberal. Over there, Kerry's not doing anything. Rah, rah, watch a blast on ISIS. Which, frankly, they got me right on that one. Okay, transgender. NBA pulls All-Star Game out. This powerful ad makes theoretical situation. Go, go. Protect transgender rights. On the other hand, screw transgender rights with an arrow towards Michelle Obama's private parts. I don't even understand that. But anyway, that's what they generated. Depending on who they think you are, they take the news that's already skewed and they skew it further. And you are not being given unvarnished, raw information anymore. And I've got to tell you, for me, this is worse than the attack on your privacy and your anonymity. This is an attack on your ability to intelligently think about any topic. They're pushing you and pushing you and pushing you on what they think your friends want and what they think you want. What if you're a right-wing guy who wants to examine the left-wing side of things? Because not all left-wingers are nuts. Can't do it. Here's somebody who says, and this is for real, I'm banned on Facebook for a month for saying Facebook is censoring conservative values. So they prove it's not true by censoring it. It's amazing. Cable One, here's what I was talking about. This, by the way, if you want to look this stuff up, I have all my sources on all these things because I hope you're going to look into this after Hope. This is DSL reports, 27th of May, 2016. What we found, this is the CEO of Cable One talking. What we found is through lifestyle and billing analysis, we could start to pinpoint where churn and bad debt was coming from, and credit scoring started to be a really good test set of the company's system. And if you read the whole article, which I urge you to do at your leisure, if you have a Facebook profile that their analytics says is not wonderful for them, you get less time during customer service. Or if they recognize your phone number, that phone is ringing for an hour. You are on hold listening to music. Now into the nitty-gritty. How this information is gathered on you. I can tell you that as an investigator with any starting point, your telephone number, your name and date of birth, your license plate, the MAC address on a device that you routinely use, I can use that to extrapolate out to your whole life. And it's not because I'm Big Brother or there's a Big Brother out there, it's because Big Marketer is out there. You are worth money. Your eyeballs are worth money. Your credit card, they want your credit card to be under their control. And this is how it's done. Now, by the way, we are going to talk a little bit about data valence, which is not Big Marketer. It is sort of Big Brother. But data valence, today more than ever, are private companies who want to know that you're walking past a Chinese restaurant so your phone can go bing, bing, bing. Hey, Big Wong's 20% off, make a left. And if you go in and you let them scan that coupon, whoever served you that coupon gets a piece of the action. That's why they want to know where you are and what you're doing and whether you like Chinese food and how often you eat Chinese food, and that it's been 3 weeks since you had Chinese food and you're probably jonesing for it, and they're, you're walking past the Chinese restaurant that they have as a client. That's how it works. With any one piece of information, I can get your name, your address, your date of birth, your SSN, your family, your friends, marriage, divorce, photographs, sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is a way that people sell you stuff. It's not that people really care if you're gay or straight anymore, but it is a profile indicator. It really is. Hobbies, habits. I mean, you gay people just dress better. We can sell you ties. No, I'm kidding. I'm the only guy here with a tie. So what does that say? Medical history, music, books, TV. I mean, you know all of this. I'm staying nearby in a hotel. When I turned on my cell phone this morning, a thing popped up from T-Mobile. T-Mobile said, you can get 20% off in the hotel restaurant. Download the app. I'm not downloading the damn app. Real property, judgments, finances, everything you've purchased, everywhere you've traveled, everywhere you've been, whether it's by car, whether it's by foot, whether it's by train, plane, whatever, however you've gotten there, unless it's a teleportation device, there's a record of it. And your physical location 24/7, 365. Now listen, I've been giving this talk now at Hope. First Hope, I was on a panel that talked about it, and then from the second Hope onward, I've been giving this talk now for 22 years. There are probably people in this room who weren't born when I started talking at Hope about this. And the technologies have expanded so exponentially, too fast to keep up with. For me to cover one single technology comprehensively and tell you everything you need to know on that technology, I would need to do a talk on cameras, I would need to do a talk on databases, I would need to do a talk on data valence. Not doing that. I'm concentrating on enough that you can at least know what's out there. Weapons familiarization. Some of the things I'm not going to be able to cover, Windows 10. Windows 10 is one of the most invasive things out there. It is gathering data on you. It is pigeonholing you. It is something that, listen, Windows, Bill Gates. Bill Gates was the devil when we gave the first Hope Conference. Everybody was talking about Bill Gates and how you couldn't remove Internet Explorer from your desktop and all the information that he was gathering through Windows Media Player. Man, just child's play. Just child's play. Nobody really understood that you were being nibbled to death by ducks. That whatever little bit they got away with then, it was going to be more the next year and more the next year and more the next year. Windows 10, what Windows 10 gathers on you and how they trick you into downloading it, click the X and it downloads and stuff like that. I would have to do a whole 3 hours on Windows 10. Windows 10, bad. That's my summary of Windows 10. It gathers a ton of stuff on you. Maybe a great operating system, I don't know. I've never used it once for a good reason. But it is so invasive, it's outrageous. Cell phones, we're going to talk about cell phones a little bit. Cell phones really deserve their own talk. Can't do it. Other digital device tracking, ditto. GPS improvements, advancements in GPS. GPS now being mated with other motion detectors, so I can tell not only that you're in such and such a building, but what floor you're on. Especially mated with beacons, which we are going to talk about. Data valence, how all of this stuff is being put together and amalgamated and analyzed to build, I can predict reasonably well where most people in this room are going to be next Thursday at 2 o'clock and what they're going to be wearing and who's going to be with them. We're creatures of habit. You all know where you're going to be next Thursday. So does the big machine. It's really that easy. If you're there 5 Thursdays in a row and the system knows you're not on vacation, and if it's a school, they know it's not school break. If you're still receiving your check, they know you haven't been fired from the job. They know where you are. It's that simple. The best source of information. New York has a lot of tattoo parlors. Take advantage of them and tattoo this somewhere you can see it all the time. The best source of information is self-contributed information. If I rubbed a lamp, I love talking about genies. If I rubbed a lamp and a genie appeared and I had a wish, I can have all the government information on everybody, CIA, NSA, FBI, NYPD, Department of Environmental Protection, whatever, all the governmental information or all the private information, it would take me less than a second to think about it. All the private information. Unless you are a mob member or an Al-Qaeda member, the US government doesn't have much interesting on you until you really come to their attention, until you tick them off. Then what do? They go to the open sources, and they get it from Facebook, and they get it from Google, and they get it from Twitter, and Instagram, and Snapchat, and everywhere you've put your photo and your stupid, stupid check-ins. I mean, do you really need to be, hey, Mom, I'm the mayor of Acavoli's Pizza. When you think about what you're doing, it's like, oh man, I'm a moron. Check-ins are incomprehensible to me. I'm an old guy, I don't get a lot of this stuff, but check-ins I will never understand. And Adam is checking in, isn't he?
No. Just checking Facebook.
Oh, yeah, there you are. I don't know what he's doing. One of our guys, watch out for him. If you're a cheating husband, get a good look at him. He's a private investigator. Actually, he doesn't do that. He's the guy towing away your car. He and I have robbed a bunch of cars together. Okay, look. The best source of information for investigators, for cops, for anyone who wants to know about you. And I say this as a guy who teaches an open source intelligence course to law enforcement and PIs, is always self-contributed information. You're putting it out there. Thank you. You're giving it up. And you're giving up in a way that you have no control over it, and I can get at it. All of these companies sell your data and your information. And by the way, I could have a list 40 slides long, but I'm just putting the obvious ones up there. They sell your information to anybody who will pay the money, anybody. And they sell it to private databases that service investigators, that service law enforcement. US government, if your information isn't sold somewhere, it doesn't matter. The US government is out there grabbing and screen scraping and pulling stuff down from everywhere. And pretty much they don't have to, because Google has something called Google Government Services. And Facebook has the same. In fact, I can tell you that there is a 3-letter entity that has a representative, law enforcement representative from their agency sitting in the Facebook headquarters to expedite things. It's a fact. I know the guy. When we first talked about it, when Snowden first talked about it, they scrubbed all their pages. Apparently, Google doesn't know there's such a thing as a Google archive search, which is where I got that stuff and this. Seriously. They're back up now. They realized it's moronic. They can't hide that they're selling to the government. Every large social networking entity sells to the government. The NSA intercepts millions and millions and millions of records every day. Not because I say so, but because the NSA says so. Even if Google doesn't sell it, even if it's on a closed platform, it's not a closed platform for the NSA. Now, there's a guy who didn't believe I was going to do this. This is for the Canadian guy. We have a Canadian film company filming today. Let me tell you, everything we're discussing today applies in Canada also. This is all stuff that's cross-border. Facebook, Google, there's a google.ca that if I want to target a guy in Canada, I can do it even more efficiently by going to the Google Canada site. All of this is cross-border. And by the way, your law enforcement agencies, even though the privacy laws in Canada are much, much better, they suck much, much worse when it comes to law enforcement. Law enforcement can get a lot of stuff Americans can't get. And by the way, this must be true because you can see I put a little moose on it and a beaver, and I said, sorry. So, but it really is true. It really is true. The guys backstage, he said, are you going to really put up something? Yes, I am. Okay, so now very quickly. Here's how it used to be done. When I started as a PI, let's say you started with a phone number. You could get a name and an address. From that, date of birth, social security number. From that, past addresses, family, mother's maiden name. POE, business, corporations, real property, marriage, divorce, voter registration, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. All of that, it was called building an inverted pyramid. You would start with one thing, and you would pull in everything. This shouldn't be news to anybody, but that's how it used to be done. Now, forget about it, A to Z. You put in a phone number, I get all of that as part of one big report. You use something like Telegorilla, you put in a phone number, I get the social security number, the date of birth, all the addresses, everything. At maximum, I have to press one more button and get a comprehensive report. By the way, $12 for your life. So what's changed in the past 15 years? First of all, obviously, a lot of this is but people don't think about it. Computing power and speed. Storage. Listen, when I started an online service, I owned peoplefinder.net. When I started an online service, with the help of some of the people I met at Hope, and let me add, by the way, I'm going to pause for commercial interruption. We are currently in my company recruiting programmers, app writers for both Apple and Android. We need people who are good with APIs, people who are good with PHP. My current tech guys are overwhelmed. We're expanding. Anybody looking for a job and is not going to horrify me when I background check them? And as you can see, I can background check them. Seriously, I'm hiring. Come and talk to me after the talk. I really am. Commercial's over. Storage costs. When I started peoplefinder.net, we had what was then considered unbelievable, 100 megabyte drive. Unbelievable, 100 megabyte drive. You can go to Office Extravaganza, or whatever the hell it's called, and you can buy a 5 terabyte Western Digital drive for $109. 5 terabytes. Unthinkable. Not even the FBI or the CIA had 5 terabytes in their system. Now it's routine. Costs are so low, especially in bulk, you never throw anything away. Very, very important. Nothing is thrown away. You do something today, don't think it's going to be gone in 20 years. Be right where it was. Everything is digital from the point of inception. You buy gas. You don't use a token in the subway anymore. You use a Metro card. You drive down the road. You don't stop and throw coins into the hopper. And if you do, by the way, the ALPR cameras gets your license plate anyway. Everything you do is digital from the point of inception, and it goes into databases. OCR sucks in old documents. 100 years of phone books. A couple of guys were at British Telecom headquarters. They were bored for the weekend. They tore the covers off 100 years of phone books. They fed them into a $400 Fujitsu scan snap, and they OCR'd them. And Monday, there were 100 years of phone books up on the BT website. That's how easy it is. All the old paper files, they're getting thrown into data. I mean, the best, Library of Congress, I was able to find the source of Charlie Chan's name, which, by the way, we're revealing on Facebook this week. I was able to do that because Library of Congress has been I always want to say digitizing. They have been digitizing newspapers for years and years and years, and I was able to get the final piece of primary source evidence I needed. Cell phones. Cell phones are key. You are tagged like a moose because of your cell phone. 78% of people with cell phones never turn them off. And the cell phone is never more, I mean, you go into the bathroom, you take the cell phone. You go into the shower, you put it on the sink. That cell phone is always within reach. I mean, the president may call, right? Can't turn it off. You gotta have it nearby. So I know where you are and what you're doing 24/7. And the cell phone, for more than half the people in this room, is your primary computing device. So because I know that's your cell phone and I see what you're doing on it, I know all. Everything is cross-referenced. Everything is analyzed. Oh, the hard disk you've been waiting for, 10 megabytes, $3,400. If you don't believe me, things have changed. Linking together off-the-shelf machinery, you have things that are on the level now of what a Cray supercomputer used to do. There's a guy who came out of a bar in Georgetown in DC, and he got mugged. He was drunk, he mouthed off to somebody, got the crap kicked out of him. He's a nerd. What did he do? He didn't go out and take karate lessons. He went and he grabbed all the GPS locations of every bar that he might potentially go to, and he got the uniform crime reports and the Washington, D.C. Police Department reports. He put it together. He figured out which bars had no assaults near them. He put up a website called Stumbling Safely, which is a hilarious title. And now he knows where to drink without getting his ass kicked, because he's a nerd. You couldn't even dream of this 10 years ago. GPS, supplemental GPS and location data like Skyhook and iBeacon and NFC. Indexing and searching on unusual, unthought of means. Voice, video, film. Snapchat is now making a fortune determining through visual recognition, do you have a Coke in your hand? Are you shooting? Are you wearing a certain type of tie? Are you showing a certain type of bag? Are you posing in front of a Ford? And analyzing what you consume and what you do and building a profile and saying, hey, here's a guy who drives a Ford, you might want to sell him a new F-150. By the way, good vehicle. Cameras. We're going to talk about cameras. I need to hurry up. We're going to talk about cameras very, very soon. I'm actually taking that out of order because cameras are an incredible representative technology for what's happened and how it's unfortunately able to be used for pigeonholing and tracking everyone. The other hand, after you've tattooed self-contributed data, on one hand, on the other hand, tattooed data is worth money. That is the motivating factor for almost everything I'm talking about today. Yes, the US government wants to know everything about you. They want to be able to pigeonhole you. They want to be able to put their finger on you anytime they want to. But the truth is, unless you're John Gotti or an Al-Qaeda member or a Daesh member, they don't really care about you. They have the data. They're never going to look at it. Marketers, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all the other people, Axiom, which you've probably never heard of, Info USA, which you've probably never heard of, they're making billions of dollars off of knowing about you. Nothing goes away. Every stupid post you put up there, every outrageous opinion, every drunken Cancun photo, every stupid thing you put up there, it's there forever. Forever. And if it's like that, it's in my presentation forever. I've been using that for like 12 years. But if you don't post, if you're a numbskull, you can count on your best friend putting it up there. Guaranteed. Do you see what this idiot did? Facebook. If you don't post, your friends will. I mean, come on. That's a real photo. There's no Photoshop. These are real photos. By the way, I was given a talk in California to a cybersecurity talk and computer crime investigators, and a guy came up to me and he says, the guy in the bunny suit, we use this also. He's a lawyer. He graduated law school. He got drunk. He fell over a rope. He was so drunk he fell asleep. They took the picture of him. For the first 2 years he was practicing, the opposing counsel would put that picture on his table to try to unnerve him. So just so you know, this stuff never disappears. And now it's being monetized where you're being encouraged, and there's no polite way to say this, to talk, no, there is a polite way, to talk smack about people you know. This is the most horrible, horrible thing I've ever seen. The woman that is running this should be burnt, pitchforks, torches, dogs, mobs, horrible. This is Yelp for people. That's how she's describing it. Yelp for people. You gotta look, if you think I'm making this up, just look it up. This is gonna be a thing a year from now. 2 years from now, I'm gonna be talking about the people that committed homicide off of one of these profiles. Look at the ratings. Now, by the way, this is an example. She has an 11. She has an 11. So her professional rating is 7. Her personal rating is 4. Her dating rating is 0. How'd you like to be this woman? This is horrible. This is the new normal. Yelp for people. This is bleh. I don't even have words for how disgusting this is. Yeah, I do, but they're doing a film and they're Canadians, so they'll use it. Anyway. The idea of Google and Facebook is they don't want you to leave their site. If you look at a page on Facebook, you're looking at it from inside a Facebook browser. If you are going somewhere that's not Facebook, chances are very good there's a like button there. And when you link, Facebook is identified, when you click that button and link to Facebook with that like, they're looking at that browser, they're looking at that computer, they're looking at your cookies, they know it's Bob. So it's more information about Bob. It's called colonization of the internet. It's like right before World War I, you had the British sphere of influence, you had the Germans, you had the Americans down in South and Central America. Everybody had their sphere of influence. That's what the internet is trying to do now. Super accurate profiling of persons, and more important, of devices. We're going to talk about de-anonymization. Effective and routine de-anonymization. Computers working 24/7 to know that's Bob's phone, that's Bob's browser, that's Bob's iPad. There are, of the two most important changes, this is a tie for first. Everything is a computer now. Your thermostat is a computer. Your milk jug is a computer. We're going to be talking about this. Your oven is a computer. Your light bulb is a computer. Why are they so crazy to make light bulbs? Wi-Fi enabled light bulbs. Two reasons. Number one, a lot of people want to be able to use the smart home where they can remotely turn lights on and off in a house, or have them going on and off remotely for security purposes, but also because every room has a light bulb. The mothership knows Bob's home, he's in that room. Bob's watching TV. It's a smart TV. Let's feed Bob the ads we know he's interested in. It's really getting to that point. Bob's in bed. Let's not bother Bob with anything. Let's go, oh, wait, his kids are in the den. Let's go look at them. Every room has a light bulb. Every Wi-Fi enabled light bulb is a little spy in every room of your house. If you think I'm exaggerating, come back to hope number 12 and tell me that, because everybody will be screwed by then. The number one change, the thing that is affecting everything I'm talking about today more than anything is changes in attitude towards privacy. I say this every time I give this talk, everywhere I give this talk. When I was a kid, there was a saying, damn, I wouldn't have told that. There are things you just didn't say. You didn't talk about it. There is no red line anymore. You use drugs, talk about it. You've been arrested, talk about it. Terrible death in the family, post about it. Whatever it is, there's no red lines. People do it without thinking. They think this is how they're sharing with friends. First of all, there's a limit now, unless you have a fan page, which I found out about because of my TV show. You can have a maximum of 5,000 Facebook friends. How is that even an issue? Who has 5,000 friends? I don't even think I have 5 friends, and I don't want to talk to any of them. I mean, 5, you're sharing with thousands of people, you have no idea who they are. Truthfully, they couldn't care a damn about you. 30 of them are probably hookers trying to, you know. Why are all these people that are trying to friend me, they have no friends of their own, and they're in lingerie? You know, what are they trying to sell me? Anyway, personal attitudes towards privacy. This is the number one change. Listen, let's talk honestly. 150 million pictures are added to Instagram every year with the tag selfie. 100, as an investigator, thank you. You know what it cost me to get your driver's license photo? How I got to track down a contact and pay him $500? Thank you. The EFF, which I understand is participating in this conference, the EFF, they're all aflutter. The FBI has hundreds of millions of face recognition photos on you in their database. Oh my gosh, first of all, it all comes from driver's license and mug shots. And if you think that stuff is confidential, you're insane. It's actually 411 million photos. The FBI has 411 million photos, derived legitimately from obvious sources. Okay, the FBI has 411 million photos. Giving them the benefit of the doubt, which I rarely do because of my personal experiences with them, but the FBI, for the most part, is decent men and women. The bad ones are really bad, really, really bad. But the majority of them are decent and really trying to do a good thing. It pains me to have to say that, but it's true. So they have 411 million photos that they're doing presumably for crime fighting and for going after the people in this room. In 2013, Facebook users are uploading 350 new photos a day. You give this twerp Zuckerberg every day more photos than the FBI has. 2014, 1.8 billion. You know, I'm like the guy with the little finger. Billion photos. 657 billion photos a year. The EFF is really whining about the FBI has 411 million photos. The EFF, listen, needs to really reorient. The enemy is not the FBI. The enemy, the real enemy, if you want to talk in terms of enemy, is Facebook and Google. First of all, FBI is using it for presumably very important and legitimate reasons. Facebook, they want to sell you pictures of a cat typing on a keyboard. I mean, Facebook. You're giving things to Facebook that you're agonizing that the FBI has them. Last year, 2015, From Mobile Eats the World. Facebook said in May 2015 that 2 billion photos are shared on its systems every day. 2 billion photos a day. Add that to WhatsApp, add that to Instagram, add that to Snapchat, add that to Twitter, and the estimated figure is 5.2 billion photos a day. 5.2 billion photos a day. And you're whining about the FBI has your driver's license photo? Honestly, I don't understand that. Okay, you see the tiny, let's see, all right, this damn thing doesn't work. Tiny, tiny, tiny little dot in the corner. That's all the photos in the Library of Congress. Next largest square, that's all the photos in Instagram. Next largest square, which is still 5%, all the photos in Flickr. Giant, all-encompassing square, photos in Facebook. Compared to Facebook, the Library of Congress is a little dot. Our national repository. 250 years of art and photo. Facebook squashes them like a bug. Not even a bug, you can't see it. So just to focus the point I'm trying to make, which you may or may not agree with, FBI has 411 million photos from your driver's license, from mugshots, and people are up in arms about it. The EFF is raising millions of dollars on it. Facebook has over 1 trillion photos in-house of everybody in this room. Nobody cares. Oversharing. Oversharing is the problem. I don't know how many people have seen this slide. I use this every time I give this talk. Here's a guy, Dylan. I don't even have to surveil this guy. I just watch his Twitter feed. 23 hours ago, roaming the streets with Mike Tyler, Lindy Sayre, etc. 21 hours ago, watching Malibu's Most Wanted, waiting for that 70s show to come on. 21 hours ago, holy effing crap, I got my bumpers to glow. 13 hours ago, just woke up. 13 hours ago, listening to XM. 8 hours ago, getting ready to go for work, to work. 7 hours ago, going to Avicoli's for pizza. There's Avicoli's again. 6 hours ago, at work, oh well. 30 minutes ago, just got out of work. Why? Why? My own mother doesn't want to know that much information on me. Why? This is routine. People do it without thinking. Nobody looks at it all in a row. Twitter's very, very smart. This is from a feed. Nobody looks at this all in a row. They look at an individual tweet. They go, oh, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. After you've tweeted 15,000, 20,000 times, which a lot of people in this room have, I own you. I know everything you've done, everywhere you go, everybody you do it with. Idiots. My voicemail password at work and the end of my zip code about 613. You know, if Hope had a wall of sheep, meh. Mike Hurley, escaped from the cops twice during Hurricane Irene. Not the third time you didn't, Mike. This one, not so funny. Ha, dude, what a rush. Laughing my ass off. I've never stabbed a cop before. He said, please don't, I have a daughter. This is for real. This is during the London riots. Tweeting about it. Tweeting about stabbing police. About stabbing police. There's no filter anymore. Albert Brooks, where's my Canadian? I put this up here just for you. Off to the Toronto Film Festival. Haven't been through customs in a long time. I hope meth is no longer an issue. Okay, yeah, Albert Brooks is a comedian. I guarantee you somebody was snapping on a rubber glove. And by the way, this is what you transmit when you tweet. I get your location, I get your identity, I get everything about you. You're going to see location data stuff in here. If I want, I have a way to go into Twitter through their API and get everybody who's tweeting from this location, who has location services turned on, which is going to be more than half the room. I can do the same thing for Google Earth. Something really interesting over there? All right, be quiet. I'm from Brooklyn. I just, I tell you. Okay. Here's a different attitude towards privacy. I just made love. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I have a wonderful evening. First thing I do is roll for my iPhone and open the app. Yeah. I don't understand it. But I will tell you one thing. If you go to the map, if you get the app, do it just for this and then delete it, because you'll see I'm not joking. Like 50% of the locations are parking lots that they tweet from. Low rent people are using this. Probably another 20% trailer parks, but we won't go there. If you want to know how much people are willing to share, I bring to your attention PMS Buddy. The purpose of PMS Buddy is to alert your friends and family when maybe they should leave you alone for 5 to 7 days. The thing that creeped me out the most, look at the little thing in the corner. Now interactive with Facebook. You look at the person's Facebook page, I'm not calling her. All right. So the end result, now let's talk about some case studies, and it's 6:15. Amazingly enough, I'm on schedule. Troll versus troll. There was one of these communication amalgamation crapola things that always roll out like once a month. We're going to bring in all your phone calls, all your tweets, all your Facebook messages, all your emails, all your text messages in one place, so you don't have to check them in all these places. So somebody, what the hell was it called? Not even important for the story. Whatever it was called, somebody posted, and somebody said, this is really bad. It's going to allow people to have all your communication in one place. So the guy says, yeah, knucklehead, the Luddite mentality continually evolves. Only a couple of short decades ago, they were grousing about sending letters instead of their newfangled electronic mail, blah, blah, blah. Basically saying, what are you complaining about? So the Luddite responds, and I love this. Some of this is blanked out. I agree with you, don't know me. Does that make me a Luddite? By simply using your profile picture, I could find out way too much about you. Your name is so-and-so. You live in Portland, Oregon. You're pretty shit at triathlons. And last year, you humiliated yourself by coming in 152nd. Something I'm sure your mom, name here, wouldn't be proud to talk about in her weekly gossip circles. She prefers to think about the days when she lived in Glendale or Pasadena, instead of wasting time on her short-sighted son. At least you managed to trick poor blank into marrying you, eh? By the way, you should tell her to update her blog at such and such a location. Mind you, it's not all fun and games with a wife, especially when you have to help her through the loss of her father. That was kind of rude. After a 6-month battle with pancreatic cancer, and he goes on for like 5 pages just putting the guy's life out there. He docks this guy to death. This is the way it is now. Self-contributed data. He didn't go into NCIC or, where's the moose guy, into CPIC or anything like that. This is all open source intelligence, all of it. All of it. Troll versus troll. Now, here's a not funny example. Very not funny. What happens when people don't think? And I want to preface this by saying that LinkedIn is the spawn of the devil. If you use LinkedIn, come and talk to me. I'll get you into a 10-step class or something. LinkedIn, bad. LinkedIn, bad. LinkedIn on a machine running Windows 10, very bad. Maybe we can keep adding to this during the talk. Anyway, New York Times ran an article about a guy by the name of Trevor Tassin, great guy, a real patriot, served his whole life in the military, enrolled when he was a kid. He was the boss of Al-Aram Air Force Base at one point. I'm sorry, I said Army, I meant Air Force. And he was the drone boss. He was the guy today when an Al-Qaeda member or a Daesh member or a terrorist gets killed, it's not by SEAL Team 6 going out and shooting the guy. It's a drone appears, nobody even knows it's there, little missile is fired, car blows up, drone flies home. That's the war today. I'm not going to discuss right, wrong, good target, bad target. If you assume that in general Al-Qaeda and Daesh are bad guys, which I frankly assume, then them getting a missile up their butt is not necessarily a bad thing. This was the boss. This was the boss. And they wrote an article in the New York Times, without thinking, last year. As stress drives off drone operators, Air Force must cut flights. But as part of the article, they put up a profile about Trevor Tassin. They gave his name. They showed his 3 kids, 11, 13, and 2. And they put enough information up there that I knew that it would take me 30 seconds to own this guy. And the guy is actually, I've got a home and an office here. I got a home and an office down in Texas. I'd actually heard his name, and I thought, oh boy, this guy's probably my neighbor. And in fact, he only lives about 40 minutes from me, it turned out. So what did I do? I did facial recognition. For some reason, when you did Trevor Tassin on LinkedIn, it didn't come up. And I got his facial recognition. I got all of his history, clicking on these one after another. First of all, I got his LinkedIn page. If I wasn't sure I found the right Trevor Tassin, my interview with the New York Times. Okay, found the right guy. I've already found where he works, Air Force, where he went to school. Next page. I got his life. Before his current job, he's Director of Operations, Al Assad Air Force Base. Operations Manager, UAV, it's a drone pilot. Operations Director, UAV Operations for the Air Force. I hate this. I don't even understand this. But his top skills, military command, UAV, intelligence, military weapons, aircraft, top secret, security clearance, military experience. Listen, if you've been living in the Unabomber's cabin, you don't know this, but everybody else knows that right now military and law enforcement and governmental employees are being targeted. Not just targeted for murder. Everywhere in the world. Cops are being shot. Daesh is putting out hit lists of military people. It's not a joke anymore. It's not entertainment. And this guy is the boss of the unit that's killing more of the bad guys than anybody. This guy is target number 1. He is by any metric, their number 1 target. I've already identified him. And now I know where he's working. He's working for JMJ Home Inspections in the San Antonio area. So I go and I scroll down, and in his LinkedIn page, so far I haven't even left LinkedIn. I have his email address, which I can, of course, as most of you know, use to get all of his other information on the net. Your email address is your Social Security number on the internet. Phone number, Texas Real Estate Commission license, public record, pull up the license, get everything on the guy. I have that he's a coach at the Little League in New Braunfels. And what does Trevor care about? Kids. Kids at the New Braunfels Little League. Think that might be interesting to people who blow up kids? So I keep looking. I find digital newspapers listing his whole family, listing all of his relatives, his wife, his wife's relatives, when they got married, where he was stationed before, that he has a daughter. I later found out he has a daughter and a bunch of other kids. I have where he goes to work every day. By the way, I could have clicked on that, made an appointment with him if I was a Daesh guy, and he would have come to where I wanted him. Sort of like Pokemon. I have his website. I go and I do a reverse, well, okay, we don't have that yet. I've got his web page. By the way, photos that he posts, people that he's interacting with daily. And by the way, in case I don't recognize him, he's holding a drone. No, he's holding a drone. There he is with the drone. I do a Whois search. I have an address on him. He's using his home address as his Whois address. Okay? I go to white pages. I have his wife's name and age. Scroll down. If it's not enough, I have his home address. Oh, great. Here's a map to his house. I don't know, Ahmed, if we can find this place. No, Mohammed. You turn right from 337 onto Landa, then you make another right on Live Oak. I mean, come on. Right there. I get his property taxes. I know what his house is worth. more information, all of his kids, their married names, Zoom info, great for stuff like this, it's free. In less than 10 minutes of open source intelligence, a guy who is arguably a top Daesh, top Al-Qaeda target, top target of all the Looney Tunes who say, I'm a 21-year-old maniac, I got nothing much going on in my life, I'm going to pledge allegiance to Daesh and I'm going to go out and shoot the place up. It's happened 3 times in the past month. It's not, hypothetical anymore in this country. I have his name, his home address, his telephone, his email, his employment, his spouse, his children, his associates, more photos than his activities. No investigative databases, no tricky PI stuff. I do plenty of tricky PI stuff. Not necessary. And it's not necessary for most of you guys either. Won't even mess with that one. We're going to go into a technology that's representative now of a lot of what's going on. It's not just cameras anymore. It's increased range, increased effectiveness of cameras, and everything that you can do with a photo or a movie once somebody takes a photo. Basic facial recognition. If you upload a photo of you and 3 people now to Facebook, and those people are in your friend list, Facebook will automatically, the minute they put it on your Facebook page, they'll say, should we notify Sarah, Joe, and Bobby that they're tagged in this photo? It's unbelievable. This is a generation-leaping technology. 1 to 2 billion photos a day on Facebook. 3 billion, it's actually 5.2 billion. This is an old slide. Posted online every day. Many of those photos posted by, I'm sorry, there's no other word. Idiots. Idiots. Why are you posting a photo of yourself eating a slice of pizza? Nobody ever saw you eat pizza before? Many of these photos are posted by your friends, by your family, and you're tagged in them. You know all the sources. There's thousands of them. I was too quick for you, wasn't I? Guy's trying to take a picture every slide. Yeah, go ahead, try to get it. You couldn't get it, could you? Okay, sometimes, go ahead. I don't know why you're doing this. You can go and get a DVD for $3 at All Talk. Who has the $3? If you can program, come to me for one of those jobs. And if you can't program, why are you here? Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Okay, the intel you can get from any photo is unbelievable. This guy was declaring bankruptcy. For those of you who don't know, this is 50 Cent, or as the cool kids say, 50 Cent. And I'm not one of the cool kids, believe me. He says he has no money, he's broke, he can't pay his bills. And then he spells out broke with stacks of $100 bills. By the way, if you Google 50 Cent broke photo, hilarious. He's talking about it was phony money, I Xeroxed $100 bill, and then somebody right below, if you look in the Google line, it says, yeah, then how come he could pay all the hookers with $100 bills? Strippers with $100 bills. I mean, sometimes photos are intel all by themselves. And it's not just photos. By the way, one of the most insidious things now, and Pokemon is a phenomenal example of this, is gathering data on people from birth. From birth. These are photos of people who don't have driver's license photos. If they get arrested, they're not going to have a mug shot. These are kids. And you can go and get kids' photos and kids' data and kids' whereabouts now. Here's an example that I use when I teach for law enforcement. This is a guy who was undercover with the FBI for 26 years. Big Jack Garcia, Joaquin Garcia, incredible law enforcement guy. 24 years undercover. His last undercover was with the Gambino family. He was so good at it. They actually offered to make him a made man. The FBI thought about it and said, yeah, maybe not, Jack. They pulled him out and they arrested everybody. And all the guys that he was under with and gathered information as a mob guy all went to jail. All the Gambino guys that went to jail because of him. I can understand why they didn't think he was a mob guy. He's 6'5", 340 pounds. he told me, he said he's the only guy that the FBI ever declared cannolis to be a work-related disability. So he went out with these guys and he told me all we ever did was eat. We ate like 7 times a day. So he was a football player in college. He was a buff agent. And after 2 years in the Gambinos, he's 340 pounds. So remember, crime does not pay. Anyway. What did I do? We were teaching a class on undercover investigation. And I said, Jack, you could never do this today. The internet would out you. Yeah, I could do it. Nobody figured out I was they all thought I was a mob guy. He talks like that too. So I took that photo from the New York Daily News, and I put it into Google image search. And I clicked on it. It's the first thing that comes up. Jack Garcia, FBI agent. Listen, your whole life is indexed even by photo. Tin Eye's another one. 50 states now use facial recognition. Police departments now have bat phones that you can go around with, take a snap of somebody. If they're already on an iris scan program, it'll scan your iris. California, there's 433,000 irises already scanned. I think San Mateo Police Department is leading the league. But facial recognition also. If you've had a mugshot, and they the typical thing, don't smile. I'll show you don't smile in a second. State Department, when you apply for a passport, does a facial recognition scan, and they've caught thousands and thousands of people who've had their passports taken away because they don't pay child support or they're felons or whatever, and charged them again. They're used for identifying pot smokers at colleges. They run them through this is a great story. When they were implementing it in Massachusetts, a couple of geeks up late at night, they said, hey, we just implemented this facial recognition. Let's run all our driver's license database against America's Most Wanted. They got a hit. They grabbed the guy. DMV is post-public acceptance of biometrics because they treat you like an animal, like you're a Gumby. Stand this way, put your arm, look at don't smile. Okay, what they do is they habituate you to people using your pictures and making you pose. Anybody know about this? This is a guy, speaking personally, if you get arrested, smile in your mugshot. Smile in your mugshot. Let people know it's bullshit. I'm telling you that from experience. This guy in Texas, where the police don't have a big sense of humor, he tried to smile in his booking photo. See those 2 arms there? Because the camera kept shooting? They said, stop smiling. He says, I always smile. I always smile for photos. So they started choking him. That's the photo. We're telling you, don't smile. And the reason for that is simple, use of biometrics. If you're smiling, it skews some things. Not everything, but something. That was the whole purpose of that. It's not just like, oh, this crook is smiling, we're going to choke him. No. They had better reasons. So does it work real world? People being arrested from biometrics, more people being arrested for biometrics. The Russians. I am smart KGB guy. Nobody will recognize our troops in Ukraine. Yeah? Well, AFP, Agency France Presse, smarter than the KGB. Or actually now it's the FSB. I'm an old guy, I say KGB. Special Forces troops, Russian Special Forces troops were sent into Georgia in 2008. AFP had photos of them. AFP took photos of the Special Forces troops, suspected Special Forces troops that were sent into Ukraine, compared them, outed the Special Forces troops in the Ukraine, even when they were wearing masks, by unique types of weapons, unique apparel on each one. So then Putin, he's like Gru in that movie. He says, okay, Special Forces troops. Fraudsters, I can tell you I use facial recognition. I have my own facial recognition engine in my office, and we're building it every day, scraping and grabbing. Poor woman by the name of Angie Stanton, she got bamboozled by a guy who was pretending to be a soldier deployed to Afghanistan. He suckered her out of a few $1,000. After a couple of $1,000, she realized maybe it was bogus. She contacted me. Just on the photos of his Facebook page, some of them were very unique, like that one right there in the corner with the tongue and the face. we were able to identify him to other Facebook pages. Grabbed the guy, outed him, saved her a lot of money, caught a bad guy, just from facial recognition. A bunch of examples I could give. The best operational guys in the world, the Mossad, they found out that a Hamas money guy was in Dubai buying arms. They sent 23 of their guys there to kill him. How do I know that? Because Dubai cops figured out he was killed, took all the cameras in the hotel, did facial recognition against passports, and identified all 23 people in the Mossad hit team. These guys are all blown. And I can tell you that I've been over at the NSA, I've been over at the CIA, and it is actually a thing to talk about disposable agents when they go overseas. Not disposable in the sense that they're going to get whacked, or, you know, Jason Bourne or something like that. But you use an agent once, that's it. You can't use them again because of biometrics and facial identification and all the other stuff. It's becoming a real topic of discussion now. When I went after deadbeat dads, just matched them against Facebook and MySpace. Here's the deadbeat dad photo, there's the social networking photo. Texas sex offender, that versus that, that versus that. This was the easiest one. This guy used his mugshot as his MySpace photo. No fooling, no fooling. And I'm happy to say he had exactly one friend, which is more than a pedophile should have. Anyway, famous photo, and this is the last example I'm going to give you before we get really creepy. Famous photo, White House Situation Room, everybody waiting to find out if SEAL Team 6 had gotten Osama bin Laden. So the next day, the AP, God bless their muckraking little hearts, hidden from view, standing just outside the frame of that now famous photo, was a career CIA analyst. In the hunt for the world's most wanted terrorist, there may have been no one more important. His job for nearly a decade was finding the Al-Qaeda leader. And this was, they named him CIA John. So of course the hive mind of the internet says, we got to identify this guy. So they went out on Reddit and on 4chan and 8chan and 12chan and everywhere else. And everybody was looking for this guy. They identified, you see the arrow there? Very tall, you can tell how tall he is from the photo. Black suit, yellow tie. Tall, black suit, yellow tie. So somebody was smart enough to go to all the other photos for the day from the CIA and the White House press office. Look all the way in the back. See that guy? CIA John. Look, and this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, even from my government. Look at the photo taken from the other angle in the White House briefing room. There he is in the back. Incredible. So they identified him. They matched him to a high school yearbook that was already online. They got him playing basketball. That's it. Now, I don't want you to think this is only the CIA. It's also KGB or FSB. This is the graduating class, the last graduating class 3 weeks ago of the FSB. Hey, party, we're agents. We are very cool guys, you know. We are FSB now. So let me just say, in Russia, photo shoots you. All these guys are in deep, deep trouble. I mean, if you look on the hanging around with too many Germans. Stefan, you got to leave. If you look on the Russian language papers, you have like lieutenant colonel, colonel generals and ministers and whatever saying, this is outrageous, weren't these people trained better, we need to. So these guys are in big trouble. Now listen, you think you wear a disguise? No. 5% of your face is enough for preliminary biometric identification, and the smaller the sample, the more likely. You know, and that applies, by the way, to everything I'm talking about today. The more unique data points, the more likely I've identified you. If I'm looking for a 6'9" Malaysian tap dancer in Boise, Idaho, there's one of you. I got you. The smaller the sample, the better. Photos that are terrible, you can now post-shooting. You can focus after you've shot the photo. You can enhance after you've got the photo. Any of those areas are good enough. Here's the Facebook tagging thing. Send this photo to Jen, Jillian, Lindsay, and Elena. That's a Facebook thing. Creepy. Google Glass. Who really thought that there'd be so many of these glass holes walking around and filming? But people are using this now. This is a thing. Processing of photos, persistent surveillance on any one target they want. Analysis of video. Car came in, turned, moving at a high rate of speed, hit another car. All of that's done without any human being ever looking at it. Analysis. You use your Google apps. Oh, what painting is that? Oh, that's Botticelli, Butterbunny, whatever. Okay, now Google knows where you're standing and what you were looking at. DARPA, this is a thing. The military R&D unit now has something that they call ALPR for faces. They have a database. You're talking to the mothership that's long-range Wi-Fi enabled. There's a base that's traveling with you. Goes back to the mothership. You're walking down the street. A wanted guy's walking down the street the other way. He's yours. ALPR for faces. This is this area of Manhattan. 1998, there were 129 cameras a square mile. 2003, 396. 2008, we were up to 1,214. Today, it's over 3,000 cameras. You are filmed 11 times on every block in Midtown. Every block, 11 times. Don't go outside. London, 1967, no cameras. All the way from 67 to 96, 500 cameras in London. There's 500,000 now. 2008, the chief of security or whatever for whoever Sir Chris Fox is, one of their security poobahs, 4.2 million community safety cameras. It's up to almost 5 million now. By the way, the technology typically for surveillance, for the type of stuff we're talking about, developed in Israel, implemented in the UK. They are at the lead of everything. They were the first people to use DNA, first people to use ALPR, first people to really use all pervasive cameras, first people to use facial recognition. The Brits use it. And then Americans, because we're smart, and we know you never buy 1.0, you wait till 2.0 or 3.0. Soon as the Brits have a technology figured out for intelligence or for surveillance, we grab it and implement it everywhere. EXIF tags. You don't even need EXIF tags now. You scrub them out of your photos, doesn't matter. Every photo has a sensor fingerprint now. This guy got 9 years in jail as a pedophile, possession of child pornography, traced it to him through the sensor fingerprint on his camera. Gigapan. This is from 2008. I'm going to show you the newest stuff. First Gigapan, 2008. Here is a camera that takes a photo that's almost 1,500 megapixels, which means you take one photo of a stadium, you got everybody. You don't believe me? Here's Obama's inauguration, one photo, you zoom in, there you go. From that to that. From that to that and that and that. This is from a live website. You can go play with it yourself all you want. How many people have checked out FanCam if you're a football fan? The Patriots, by the way, Patriots, great team. I love them. They have a bunch of PIs on staff. They use digital surveillance on everybody. They're filming the other guy's playbook, if you remember that. I love the Patriots. They're my kind of guys. So anyway, I want you to look in the upper corner of that stadium. See that? This is from FanCam. I just logged on and did this. You can make out every single person's face. That's for every game. That's for every game. This is a commercial technology now. Anybody who wants to can do this. I love this. NFL camera's so good, you can see the Coke in Bruno Mars' nose. And it's true, they are that good. I want you to watch this. Watch carefully. This is a camera you can walk over to B&H tomorrow and buy this camera. This is a Panasonic 70 times optical with like a gazillion digital enhancement. Just watch this. Keep watching. Keep watching. Yeah, it is on a tripod with the control, but they'll zoom in now. Less than $1,000 for this camera and lens. The next one's even worse. All right, you got the idea? Okay, next. Okay, from that to that. Next one. This is amazing. Somebody emailed me this. I couldn't believe it. Wait. Okay, I got to play it out one more time because I didn't believe it myself the first time. This is an example of how technologies are increasing. They are leaping generations. And all of these are technologies that can be easily employed for surveillance. Anyway, you get the point. Canon coming out with a 250 megapixel camera. Here's right where we are. This is the Empire State Building. You can look in anybody's window you want. You don't believe me? Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. That's Queens from the Empire State Building. If there isn't a camera, send a drone, tiny little drone. One day you're going to be under surveillance, you're going to go like that, you just broke a drone. The FBI is going to send you a bill. You think I'm kidding? This is called Cyborg Fly. It's an actual moth that they put a controller in. Don't believe me? Look it up. Devil Ray, the thing never has to refuel. Two cables come out. They lay on a high energy line, sucks up the energy, recharges, pulls the cables back in, flies off. Vampire. In a box, in a briefcase. Drone in a briefcase. There it is being deployed. One from Israel, supposed to look like a butterfly. Flies around, oh, what a cute little butterfly, snap, snap. Commercial drones everywhere, 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 everywhere. That's all weather, all environment drone, night, day, snow, rain, hurricane, never mind. Look at this next one. That's the Harvard RoboBee. That tail is the antenna. That's a quarter. Anybody can go out and buy 4th generation parrot. Guy took his parrot, his cat died. You all internet guys, I got to put a cat up in the presentation at least once. All of these cameras, all of these videos are being mated with activity recognition, smart surveillance, analytics, facial recognition, license plate readers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's no longer a photo. People take the photo as intel, and they analyze it, and they match it. I mean, the funny thing is the people who started doing this were in prisons. So they had these unattended cameras, like if somebody was making a break for it. When they started using them for schoolyards, this was the actual ad. There's a kid making a break for it over there. Facial recognition, facial matching, depending on how small the sample is. 36, this is an old slide, 36 million faces a second. I can do the whole United States in less than 10 seconds. Every person. Take a picture, match it against the database. I can identify you in less than 10 seconds. It's a fact. This is Fujitsu from 2012. There's much better now. Much, much, much better. And I've seen it work. And by the way, how do you speed things up? They figured it out. Okay, have an engine that the first thing it does, it separates black from white. Okay, we don't have to check these 100 million photos. Next, male from female. We don't have to check half the population. And before it even runs the sample, it already knows what to run it against. This is so easy to do. They pulled this because of people screaming and yelling. There was an app called Scene Tap. They had cameras in cooperating bars, and you could go and you could say, okay, Zella, 90% full, 58% women, 42% men. Oh, I got a shot then. I'm going there. That's really what the app was for. There were so many people saying, creepy. Personally, I think it's, it balances the workload out. It's, anyway. Okay, Russia, where they are watching everything. I need to bring Yuri up here to do this. I'm kidding, don't do it. Just a few weeks ago, like 8-10 weeks ago, a guy took facial recognition engine that he helped develop, and he ran it against Russia's equivalent of Facebook. What did he do? He took pictures of people on the subway, and he compared it to Russia's Facebook. Incredible. You got to go look at the whole study. The Guardian put a whole analysis of it up there. I hate the Guardian, but great article. That's the guy on the subway. There he is on his Russian Facebook thing with the little doggy over there. Next, subway, Russian guy. Here he is with his little bear over there. These are real photos. He really did it. I mean, why a guy would have a bear, I'm not sure. But anyway, the point is to show that the facial recognition works. Okay, so already here, digital contact lenses, gait recognition, biometrics, iris on the fly. As you move, they can get your iris if the conditions are right now. Here is a light bar developed by a Turkish company, which is good, in case they need it for the next coup. It's a light bar for the terrible, like the Reichstag fire, almost. Like, let's pretend there's a coup and let's oppress the whole country. So now you have, from a Turkish company, you have a police light bar, which is already being tested in the US. It has 3 things in it: facial recognition, ALPR camera, and a speed detector camera. It can tell if you're speeding, if you're walking, it can tell who you are, and it's checking every vehicle as it drives. 1, 2, 3 years from now, every urban police department for sure, and probably a lot of small sheriff's departments, every single car will have an ALPR camera. It won't be, okay, New York City has 3,200 vehicles, 600 of them have ALPRs. It'll be every single vehicle, including undercover. And by the way, in New York, it's not just ALPR on cars, it's ALPR in halal carts that aren't halal carts. It's 10 yellow taxi cabs that aren't yellow taxi cabs. That's the actual number, by the way. There are cameras and sensors, and some of them very serious sensors, radioactive detection and biological detection, because New York is #1 target, pretty much. All of that stuff is going to be out there in every police vehicle. But soon, because a light bar is a universal thing on all the marked vehicles, every vehicle will have an ALPR and every vehicle will have facial recognition. And you have to understand, ALPR and facial recognition is mostly not law enforcement. It's private entities. They do a deal with law enforcement. You give us all your photos so that we can sell them to repo guys. Here's a repo guy. You don't believe me? He'll tell you about this company. And I masked their name, but everybody knows who they are, so it's Vigilant. At this point, there's no point in masking their name. Everybody knows who they are. They get photos from all the law enforcement people that cooperate with them, which are pretty much everybody who has an ALPR camera. They give free access to that law enforcement, and then to the rest of the world, including me and him and a bunch of other private industry people, they sell me the location of everywhere your car has been for the past 5 years. I mean, if I want to know your whole life, I can probably extrapolate it from where your car is. It is becoming such a thing that in the UK, if you haven't renewed your insurance, it turns off the gas pump, so you can't fuel your car. You don't have insurance? Sorry, you can't drive the car. It is good, actually. I like that. There's a thing called Bump. It can identify, okay, that's an Amazon guy, that's a Facebook guy, this guy's a Home Depot preferred customer, and they match Bump, the ALPR from Bump, to identify the vehicle with short distance radio transmissions. It beams a commercial. All the FM band, all the AM band, if you have your radio on, it doesn't matter what channel you're tuned to, you're going to listen to their commercial. Pretty clever. Augmented reality, that's what Pokemon is, by the way. You take a picture, and there's a little snuffleupagus or whatever it's called there in the picture. I don't know. I don't play Pokemon. Come on. Anyway, whatever. Pikachu? I don't know. Give me a name. Give me a name of a Pokemon, somebody. Huh? Pikachu is one? Okay. So there's a Pikachu there, peeking at you. So look, for me it's ridiculous, but as an investigator, it's an important thing. I mean, Pokemon is now suddenly wired into so much of what I do, and we're going to talk about that. But we're at the point where you're going to be able to take a picture of a building, and it's going to tell you who is in each apartment, from listed phones, from utilities. Does that person have a criminal record? I'm walking into a building to do a neighborhood canvass. I'm going to be able to go click. Oh, there's a guy who shot a cop on the 3rd floor in the back. What the hell is this? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is interesting stuff, actually. Fingerprint reading from a distance. Somebody taking, and by the way, I know a bunch of you guys go to CCC, what is it, Computer Congress, right? Communications, whatever. It's in German, so screw it. But anyway, what's it called? Yeah, okay. A couple of German guys there giving me the thumbs up. CCC. One of the people at CCC did a test, and they were able to shoot the finger of, who is she? The president of the, yeah, whatever, defense minister. Defense minister. They were able to get her finger and use it for a fingerprint match at a distance. So that's how good it's getting. And then there's other technologies. If I use non-visible light, I can tell what the reaction is in your face. I can do remote lie detection on you while I'm interviewing you. Eye tracking. There's something, where is it? Okay, expression. This is being used for automated customer response where, you know, don't email us, don't call us. We'll do a live chat with you right now. And it's really a bot, AI on the other end. And is this person upset? Is this person happy? Uh-oh, the person is like screaming into the camera. Okay, we better bring a live person. The CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, now has a guy at the Nogales border crossing called Elvis, which is an avatar. You go and you talk to Elvis. Do you have anything to declare? No. You have any drugs with you? No. Are you a U.S. citizen or a green card holder? Yes. And Elvis, 80% of the time, can determine if you're lying. The other 20% of the time is a waste of time because they send you for secondary checking. But the 80% of the people, secondary checking. And Elvis lets people through, too. Okay, you know, oh, we blew up a building. We killed 40 innocent people wearing a keffiyeh, showing the V for victory, the terrorist V for victory. There is now biometrics on the V for victory. This is from a Jordanian college. They're doing this, and they're doing this very, very effectively. The terrorists mask their faces, and they do the V for victory. If you're a terrorist, wear gloves, because they know who you are. There's butt identification. First of all, why was this developed? This is part of the Internet of Things. So the chair can recognize your ass. And so the chair can tell you if you're losing or gaining weight. Butt identification. It is not true, the rumor going around that this was tested on the Kardashian girls. But all right, the Kardashians make me laugh. Okay, now this is one of the creepiest things. Oh, okay, I got to speed up. One of the creepiest things. You know how people used to tell you the last thing that you see when you die, it's burned into your eyes? Well, not true, but they can take a picture now of your iris and see what you were looking at, and this is being used against pedophiles who are taking pictures of kids. They're getting the reflections from the iris if it's a good enough camera. From that to that, from that to that. There's a video. You got to watch this thing. This is legit. It's the creepiest thing ever. It's the creepiest thing ever. Now, you got to know all these technologies. It's spy versus spy. Spy versus spy. Technology to surveil, technology to stop the surveillance. Apple, a couple of weeks ago, announced that they're building into their iPhone a way that your ability to take photos is going to be shut off if people buy the device that shut it off. Imagine you're trying to take a picture of somebody getting beaten down, right? and that guy has the device on him, you can't take a picture. You can't take a video. It was originally designed, as you can see, to stop, unapproved photography of concerts and public events. Listen, technologies, there's nobody that knows this better than a room full of hackers. Technologies migrate. Let me tell you that I predict this is going to be used to stop people from videoing things that they really should be videoing, and they really should be allowed to video. And this is an actual patent that's out there now from Apple. Snapchat, as I told you, is analyzing products to sell stuff to you. It's sort of a cross between ALPR and that people thing. You have a dashboard camera that's detecting stupid behavior by drivers, and it's categorizing those drivers by their conduct on the road and selling this to insurance companies. Yeah, you think you got a good driver you're insuring? He's a frickin' maniac. You want to see the video? Okay, let's talk about Pokemon. How come, well, what happened to the sound? I had a little tune that was supposed to play. All right, screw it. Anyway, Pokemon. Folks, listen. Pokemon, by the way, I know there's a bunch of guys on the job in New York that are in this audience tonight. This is what you don't want to see from law enforcement. Speaking as an investigator, I go around and I run open source intelligence classes for law enforcement. No cop should ever say, I don't want to know about something. You want to know about everything, because it's going to bite you in the ass. I mean, Pokemon now is being used to lure people for robberies. People are being bonked on the head and their iPhones being taken. Cops in Upper Peninsula, Michigan, lured a guy with a warrant who was playing Pokemon to a location where they were waiting for him, and they grabbed him. If you think I'm making this up, I mean, look it up. It's incredible. People, and by the way, I encourage you guys to send me stuff like this. Guys email me every day. I get like 20, 30 hilarious things like this. And a lot of them end up in the presentation. If you think I could spend 20 hours a day doing nothing but this, you're wrong. A lot of this I get from you guys. This is not the right attitude. And this is a smart cop. This is a smart law enforcement agency that put out a press release warning families. Now, I want to tell you, Pokemon is now gigantic. These are actual stats. Pokemon beats porn for searches on the internet. Nintendo became the most traded Japanese stock, ahead of Nippon Steel. It added $6 billion to Nintendo's market cap in 1 week. Top downloaded Apple and Google app. This is a tsunami of stupidity. It's unbelievable. And I want to tell you why this is bad. Because this is gathering data on people who are kids, who don't know better. Their whole life is on the internet. They see a terms of service, they click it. Here's an actual stat. If you actually read every terms of service that you were presented with, it would take 76 days a year. 76 days a year doing nothing but reading, the user of this product agrees. Nobody reads terms of service. I mean, maybe the shut-ins and people with nothing better to do in their lives. Nobody reads a TOS. But you're giving up everything. You're giving up all the rights to the data that appears on their system. And most of the people using this are kids. So you're getting photos of kids. You're getting location of kids. You're getting activity of kids. And it's wrong. I am a free information guy. This is the one thing that I and every investigator has in common with every hacker. Information has to be free. Information has to be available equally to everybody so you can make informed decisions about everything. This is a religion for me. I believe it. And for a lot of you guys too. One exception. Kids. You don't grab information on kids. 20 years ago, if anybody had even thought about this, if Bill Gates would have fired the guy, this is now acceptable. This is bad. This is wrong. this is dumb. Never mind, it's a horrible frickin' waste of your time. I mean, I'm sure some of you are sitting in here, hatching eggs, whatever the hell is it called, and exercising your brontosaurus or whatever. Listen, come on. Really? Get a life, eh? Time spent on frickin' Pokemon. 150% more than Facebook. I mean, I'm delighted to see Facebook going down, but it's not because Facebook is going down. It's because you're wasting more of your frickin' time. 35 minutes a day hatching eggs. If you hatched real eggs, you could, egg omelets. Anyway. $2 million a day are going to the pokey people, who are poking you, by the way, in every orifice, through in-app purchases. $2 million a day. They had to update their program so you couldn't hatch eggs. I guess that's a very time-intensive deal. You got to rub the egg, massage the egg. One of you guys will tell me later, but they made it so you can't hatch an egg if you're moving more than 20 miles an hour. Because people were crashing their frickin' cars. People were driving into walls. A guy drove into a police car doing some pokey stuff. This maniac, he's chasing a little Pikachu or whatever. He goes to a location, he sees it, and there's another guy there, and the guy says, you want a battle? I guess that's a thing for Pokemon, right? You do some kind of battle? So the guy says, you want a battle? He says, sure. The guy pulled out a knife and stabbed him. No. Michael Baker, Forest Grove, Oregon. Google it, look it up. I'm not making that up. I put his name there for a reason. Normally I don't do that, but this guy's all over the internet as the winner of the Darwin Award. He's a moron. So what happens? He's stabbed, he's bleeding. I mean, veins are cut. He won't go to the hospital. He's not done finding the Pokemon. His friends say, he was saying, I saw 3 footprints and then it disappeared. It's a wild Pikachu. And go to the hospital, you moron. But he wouldn't do it. And by the way, Pokemon reports everything about you. This is some of the code and some of the activity that was grabbed. Somebody did a man-in-the-middle attack, I guess, on Pokemon transmissions or whatever. I mean, it knows everything you're doing. It knows if you're even tilting, playing Pokemon while you're drunk, walking down the street. I don't know, but it knows everything. Okay, boys and girls, Pokemon bad. Pokemon on a Windows computer, running 10 bad. And you give them your life. I love how the Pokemon poking people say, protecting your privacy is really important to us. Really important. It's like Trump. Believe me. Whenever Trump says, believe me, I come that much closer to being a Democrat. I'm voting for Trump. I'm horrified with myself. I'm going to vomit when I leave the voting booth. But you know what? There's one thing worse than Trump. Correct. Okay, now you all can hunt me with pitchforks later. You know what? The reason I love Hope and 2600, and I got out of my sick bed to do an off-the-hook broadcast, this is the only place where people say, honest inquiry, all political opinions, all information is welcome. This is the only place in the world where they do that. So you're lucky to be here. Anyway, that's true. Think about it. But anyway, the pokey people grab cookies, web beacons. If you don't know what web beacons are, that's your homework assignment. But let me tell you, the little transmitters, short-range transmitters that report your location. They're using them in supermarkets so they know how long you've been staring at the can of peas and whether you bought it or not, or whatever. Log data, which allows device fingerprinting, more device fingerprinting, location data, GPS, even cell tower triangulation. It specifically says that. And it says you or your authorized child's username and location. Your authorized child. Your kid goes, come on, give me Pokemon, give me Pokemon. 20 days later, you give it to him. Stand strong, parents. You want to tell Pokemon do not track? In their terms of service. Our services do not have the capability to respond to do not track. It's in the terms of service. I'm not making that up. They're horrible, 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 horrible people. They're horrible people. Now, they're being banned in Russia because the FSB has decided they are a CIA plot. Sounds like something from Saturday Night Live, but it's true. They're being banned in Russia. I want you to look at their terms of service, everything they give. They want your contacts, they want your location, they want your precise location, they want to be able to modify or delete, they want to read the contents of your USB storage, full network access, activity recognition, prevent the phone from sleeping. That's going to be great for your battery. Google Play billing service. I mean, they want to own your phone and your life by extension. Now, compare Pokemon Go to Ingress. Okay, Ingress was started by a company called, come on, Niantic, which now owns, or developed Pokemon. Niantic was a spin-off of Google. Google still owns a big bunch of stock. If that isn't enough, Niantic also developed Keyhole for the CIA, which was a surveillance device. So maybe the Russians are right for a change. No, they're not, but still, don't use it. But by the way, it has freaked out even the US military to the point where they have issued unclassified OPSEC guidelines for Pokemon use by the troops. No, this is a real thing. This is a real thing. And I guarantee you guys are poking their way into minefields and machine gun fire and tank missile or whatever, who knows. I'm going to leave the last word for Pokemon to the Onion. I love the Onion. What's the object of Pokemon Go? To collect as much personal data for Nintendo as possible. Where can you play Pokemon Go? Anywhere. What are Pokemon Go? This is not for you. How do you beat the game? The game is won when you have completed all in-app purchases. Should I worry about the amount of information that I will expose about myself by using the app? It's never stopped you before. And sadly, that's true. Is some part of this game's popularity among adults deeply, indescribably sad? Yes. Yes. Okay, Facebook. And now I'm going to go through this. I've got 20 minutes before Q&A, and I've got like 3 hours of stuff. So I'm going to go through this like a speed freak, or whatever they say now, a meth addict. Anyway. Facebook grabs everything on you, your whole life, your activities, your check-ins, your photos, everything. There is no way to get it back. There is no Facebook Freedom of Information Act. You don't really know what they're grabbing. If you try to get anything from Facebook, they will fight you to death, to the point where a bunch of lawyers have actually gotten together in California and set up something called the Facebook Subpoena Project, where they're going to force Facebook to respond to subpoenas. Facebook requires real names, ages, email addresses. They nudge the crap out of you if you don't give them anything. This is mine. Where did you live? Ask for the address. Facebook, ask for the email. Basic info, what's your birthday? Yes, I put a fake birthday. Gender, what you're interested in, your religious views, your political views. Come on, tell us. Because you're not telling us, you're not telling Mark Zuckerberg, you're sharing it with your friends. All 5,000 of them. And Facebook wants to extend its tentacles everywhere. And it does it so effectively that I could easily give a 3-hour class on just Facebook. Facebook examines your politics, your political views, your sexual orientation, your religion, how people, they can even identify if you're talking to your kids. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, describe who you are, Steve. Add info about you, add featured photos. They nudge you and nudge you and nudge you for more and more and more. And by the way, if I go to your page and I want your phone number, if I've clicked on phone number, it says not listed. Ask him to list his phone number. Steve, ask your friend to list his phone number because it's for you, Steve. Even in Canada. Okay, that's going to be my new line. Facebook is worse. Facebook is relentless. Facebook grabs, if you are not a Facebook user, people who are not registered Facebook users, if 5 people on Facebook have photos and activities of Bob. Even if Bob is not a Facebook user, they develop a profile for Bob. This is the use, beyond my understanding. Beyond my understanding. This is across all age and economic strata. All age and economic strata, the amount of use. 25 hours of internet, about 7 to 8 hours of Facebook a week. 7 to 8 hours of Facebook. Looking at little puppies. I mean, beyond my ability to understand. Facebook has tested psychological manipulation on its users, and they have admitted that. Facebook determines from how you're talking to somebody what the relationship between you and that person is, and they add it to the profile. They know if that's your mom talking to you from the languages she uses. Okay, that's where they screwed with people. Facebook even has had internal discussions. And this is the whole thing about affecting what you see, what news you look at, what is made available to you. And this is insidious because people get their news from Facebook. Facebook actually asked during an employee meeting, what responsibility does Facebook have to help prevent President Trump in 2017? Okay, look, I don't care what you think about Trump. I guarantee you I think worse about Trump than anybody in this room. Let me tell you like a Brooklyn guy. He's a New York City landlord. There is nothing worse. That is lower than a pedophile. And I want to tell you, I'm voting for him anyway, but I don't have good opinion of him. But no matter what I think of our future 46th president, God help us all, our future 46th president, this is wrong. This is wrong on every possible level. It is un-American. It's wrong from the ethos of the internet, if there's still such a thing. It's wrong from free information. You don't turn people into zombies. I mean, this is a Nazi movement. This is a communist movement. What responsibility do we have to make our overwhelming number of users not vote for Trump? I've got to tell you, if anybody in this room knows this is wrong and bad, at the most, I mean, it should be in the DNA of every hacker that this is wrong. And it is. But Facebook is doing it. And Facebook is surveilling you and gathering information about you, and they are selling it. Why is Facebook doing this? Do you think Mark Zuckerberg really gives a damn anything about you? Pretty sure not. He's out there killing his own meat or whatever he does. He actually did that. He said he wouldn't eat anything he didn't kill himself, so went and stabbed a slice of pizza. Anyway, I don't know. He really did kill some stuff, which doesn't make me think any worse of him, believe me. Couldn't. But they sell all this stuff. This is because they sell it. And let me tell you, the thing you need to understand about Facebook is lookalike audiences and friends. People associate with people like them. If your Facebook friends are a bunch of right-wing private investigators and cops, you're probably a right-wing private investigator or a cop. My Facebook, I screwed it up completely because I have this TV show. So you have all these weird people from Brazil and South Africa and whatever. We want to friend you. Great, come on. Great. Let Zuckerberg figure this out. Anyway, for most people, your friends really are you. It's called assortive matching and assortive mating. And that's what they sell. They sell custom audiences. They sell people who think a certain way, who buy stuff. And by the way, this is what they gather. There's shadow profiles, tagging, synchronizing. They even use deleted postings. You think you've deleted something? No. By the way, let me tell you before I forget, in case I forget this with Google, if you type on Gmail, you're typing an email message, and even before you save it as a draft, you go, no, I can't say this, and you delete it, Google saves it to your profile, just so you know. I know that because I've been present when warrants have been returned on Google, and I've seen the type of information that they return. And that's one of the things that they returned. Postings that weren't even saved as drafts, and drafts that were never sent and were deleted. So anyway, all of this stuff, opt-outs, privacy, the processor, your browser fingerprinting, blah, blah, blah. All of that is gathered about you by Facebook. And other people bring your stuff in. Other people can bring in your bio, your birthday, your family, your friendship, your religious and political views, etc. Facebook is the devil with photos. It's hell with pictures. And Facebook's facial recognition is literally, by 2 percentage points, better than the FBI's. I don't know how that's possible. The FBI should go to Facebook. Zuckerberg would sell his mother. So go to Facebook and say, let us use your facial recognition. FBI wanted to bust a phone. They paid $1.2 million to crack a phone. Meanwhile, the joke's on them. My friend Ted shows me a device that for $2,000 you can buy at a Shenzhen that does the same thing. The FBI, listen, I'm sure there's an agent in this room. There gotta be. What's Rambam doing? So whoever you are, when you go back to the mothership in DC, you want to crack an iPhone, come to me. I'll only charge you $500,000. De-tag your Facebook photos. This is like a PSA. I don't normally put that up there, but the photos are starting to tick me off so much. De-tag the photos, go to your privacy controls. De-tag the photos, de-link your photos. Don't let people tag you in a photo. Don't do it, block it. And for God's sake, a guy checked in from a bathroom in Jeffersonville, Ohio. Don't check in, especially from a bathroom. And people post the craziest stuff. I just put this up there. This is, okay, yeah, this guy was a collar. This guy was locked up. He taped up his kid who was misbehaving. On the run for robbing a bank, Facebook, with the crystal and the money, and what a knucklehead, but he's arrested. Okay, siphoning gas from a police car. I'm not making this up. This is for real. I mean, the number one pieces of evidence in divorce cases now in America. Tops in online evidence. And look, I tell you this as an investigator, if all of your friends are gangbangers, you're a gangbanger. Not always, not always. Good percentage of the time. All of your friends think a certain way, act a certain way. You're friends with them and you're hanging with them for a reason. Because you are sympathetic with that conduct, you're sympathetic with their beliefs. Assortive mating, assortive matching. There's a book, I even put it up there, called The Big Sort. Pirate Bay is your friend now that kick-ass torrents are down. Read the book. The Big Sort, amazing. Amazing how people even move to certain zip codes almost subconsciously because of what they believe and how they act. Facebook, using Facebook, they did a thing at a university called Project Gaydar. 91% accuracy whether somebody was gay or not, whether the person was out or not. I mean, if he's marching with a rainbow flag, that's a giveaway. But that's not what they did. Project Gaydar, look into it. And by the way, whenever I bring up an example like this, people come to me later, what do you have against gay people? Zero. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. Gay people, marriage, go ahead and be as miserable as straight people. Be my guest. Do whatever you want, but I want to tell you something. Whether or not you're gay is still a pressure point for a whole lot of gay people. There are gay people who don't want to be out, and they get dragged out kicking and screaming by this type of shit. There are people who've killed themselves as a result of it. Facebook Messenger, holy crap. Facebook is a payment device. Facebook is a telco. Facebook is shameless. Facebook went to court to keep its rights to track every Belgian. This is like a couple of weeks old. Facebook is the devil. Or as an Israeli minister said, Facebook is a monster. It really is. Facebook actually tracks you physically in the real world through beacons in stores that report to the Facebook app whether you looked at something on Facebook and then went to the store to get it. They can now report that to the store as return on investment to encourage the store to keep advertising. One more time, you look at something on Facebook, Facebook can now tell whether you went to the store to buy it. Think about what that means. It means they're up your butt so far And I have to tell you, as an investigator, I can get all this stuff off of Facebook. Here's an example of a Facebook search. There's an investigator named Steve, used to live in Brooklyn, likes to scuba dive, went to John Jay. He's in his late 40s, give or take a few years. That's the search that brings up my Facebook page. I can do that on any of you. I leave the last words to Mr. Zuckerberg when he was being deposed during the famous Winklevi lawsuit. They found one of his text messages back and forth. They trust me. I don't know why, dumb fucks. He's right. Okay, MySpace, we'll go past MySpace. Just you should know, it's the ghetto of the internet. And people post amazing stuff. If you're one of those people, I got two things for you. Stop, and your password is now out on haveibeenowned.com. 470 million Facebook passwords. Pretty much every Facebook password has been leaked. Most people have their pages still up there because they forgot their damn password. It's been so long. Okay, you want your password? Download the file. Unbelievable. Smoking weed, stabbing people, beating a girl over the head with a rock. Facebook. MySpace. Google. You are giving your whole life to these two schmucks in sneakers. All right? I don't want to sound like your grouchy uncle, but I am your grouchy uncle. So listen, you whippersnappers. I remember when I used to have to go 5 miles in the snow with an acoustic coupler and a blue box to a payphone. And, you know, hacking in my day wasn't as easy as it is for you. All right, anyway. The point is, as your grouchy uncle who loves you all, more or less, some of you less, what are you doing? As an investigator? Thank you. Anyway, Google is a colossus. Google is a colossus. At one point in time, they had more money than the US government. They have 600 PhDs. They use more electricity than Salt Lake City. That's actually true. They are able to keep the entire internet in RAM of their servers. It's not just Google search. It's translation, blogs, Google Plus, which sucks but got hundreds of millions of people, news groups, images, Gmail, every book, whether you wanted them to or not. Hey, I'm the copyright holder. Yeah, we don't care. Music, finance, video, Google Voice, everything. Phones now, Project Fi, which by the way I use overseas, so they know when I'm overseas. All of this, everything. All the apps that interface with Google and report on your activity. Google Goggles, amazing. Gives them terabytes of information every day. Everything goes into Google. Now listen, Google exists for one purpose only, to know everything there is to know about every person on the planet and sell it. That's really their business model. If you think about it, what does Google do? Do they build cars? Not so much. Have they developed a cure for cancer? No, they haven't. What do? They suck in information and they monetize it. And they want all of your information that they can get. Here's an example. You don't share your phone location with Google? No problem. They have a P2P location patent now. I know where Bob's cell phone is. I know where Stefan's cell phone is. Fred's cell phone is equidistant from these two based on a single strength of 4 little circles on the Wi-Fi. I know he's 50 feet from them and 50 feet from them. You're not reporting your cell phone location to Google? Doesn't matter. They just triangulate it in on you. And one of the ways they're doing it is they're marketing cell phones to everybody. You got an incredible product. $20 a month for a cell phone, unlimited voice, and I get a percentage, by the way. No. You know, they have an incredible deal with really reasonable, good smartphone, everything. Everything's all included. It's all you can eat. They want you to use it so your cell phone is their detection device. Not only are you tagged like a moose, they have you out like you're hunting for a Pikachu for everybody else. See, I used Pikachu again. Terms of service. Collection, use, sharing, onward transfer of your data, including but not limited to voice and location data. And there's another 76 pages of this. Speech recognition. How is it that they text you a voice message? Well, what they did, they were really, really clever. They had Google 411 for a couple of years. They had everybody scream into it, no, that's not what I said, until they perfected their speech-to-text recognition, which, by the way, the US government pays them a small fortune for every year through Google Government Services, in case they are listening to your phone calls, and they sell all of it. App Inventor, Geocron, URL shortener, Google Goggles, et cetera, et cetera. They have their own frickin' satellite. The main thing is everybody Googles their whole life. Okay, show of hands. How many people here have Googled their own name? The whole frickin' room. Put your hands down. How many people have Googled their address? Most of the room. Put your hands down. How many people have Googled their social security number? Yeah, like 15 people raised their hands. Okay, so guess what? Google now knows it's you and knows your social security number. But the point is, people Google everything important about to them. You know, when I was a chemistry major, there were all these laws. The law of molarity, the law of this, the law of that, named after a guy. I'm very jealous. I'm a jealous guy. So I have two laws now. Rambam's first law. You are what you Google. You really are what you Google. Sooner or later, everything that you're interested in, everywhere you go, all of your friends, all of your family, your entire life, you double check on Google. Your whole life, you are what you Google. Example, this couple wanted to strangle a girl to death. They weren't sure how to do it. They Googled how to strangle somebody. They killed it. It's not so funny. Smart cop found it on their Google history. That's them locked up. Google does not care about you. They have this do no evil crap, and they try to present themselves as a benevolent entity. It's crap. It's crap. They are ferocious. They are avaricious. They are carnivorous. I'll think of 10 more words if I have to. But they want your life, and they want to be able to sell it. EFF, one good thing they did, street photos in Manhattan. This guy, Kevin Bankston from EFF, they didn't know he was from EFF. He checked his address and he saw a picture of himself walking in front of the house. He contacted Google. He said, take down my picture. They said, bite me. You were in public. No expectation of privacy. They didn't realize his EFF's in-house lawyer. He sued their pants off. So now in Manhattan, not anywhere else in the world, but anywhere where Kevin Bankston may wander, they blur the facial photos. But they go onto private roads, they go into houses, they go into stores. They don't care. They take every single book, copyright, not copyright, they scan it. It's been great for me. I've done research on tons of topics because they have every frickin' book there. But honestly, there's a lot of books I didn't buy because they do this. They suck down every news source. News.google.com. You think Google is paying all the newspapers whose articles? These people, reporters are getting fired left, right, and center. Print industry is dying. Some of the most brilliant gatherers of data who protect my interest and your interest. The real old-time muckrakers are out of work. That's a big reason for it. Google cars, I love this. This is their attitude for you at Google. They can take your picture, you can't take their picture. I mean, data harvesting at Google, they gathered billions of data points by going out and sucking it from Wi-Fi. The US government fined them $22 million. That's not even a day's money for them. It's a joke. They would have paid $22 million for it, gladly. 22 million, 22 and a half. Perfect example. How many people, I'm curious because this is a hacker group, how many people here know about the all-mail folder? All right, look around because it's less than half the room. Listen, here's what you have to do to actually get information back from Google. Gmail, you delete a message. So it's gone, right? You deleted it? It's in your trash folder. You have to go into trash and delete it. So you've gone into trash and deleted it, and it's giving you the warning, do you really want to delete your trash? Yes, I do. Click. So it's gone, right? No, it's not. They have something called the all mail folder, which, by the way, in certain programs they don't even show you. All the mail that you've deleted and deleted again is still sitting in the all mail folder. People, I give these talks, some of you are going to go into the all mail folder, you're going to find thousands and thousands of deleted messages. It stays there forever. They don't want to lose it. They record everything you do. There are people, I've seen this on the internet, people crying. I've had this account, I've got 15,000 messages in my Gmail. Now they're demanding my phone number and other information to unbrick my account. They wait till you're at the point where you have what's called Google addiction. It's an actual term, Google addiction, that they use at the mothership, when it would be impossible for you to change your Gmail or no longer do with Google Docs or use Google Translation or whatever, when you are stuck with them. And then you got to pay. Give them your phone number, give them your address, give them your firstborn. By the way, some people did a test of phony terms of service. They had like the 26th page that you surrender your firstborn. And they actually called it, in this bogus terms of service, the Herod Clause. And people, nobody looked, just, yeah, scroll to the end, click agree. Nobody cares. Okay, so let's move on. I got to do this really fast. Let me tell you that the commercial data gatherers, ranging from Amazon to people that track you, they do it not because they want to be Big Brother. They want to sell you stuff, but the end result is they are tracking you like never before. iPhone has something called iBeacon that tracks your butt within millimeters. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, all report your browser fingerprint, and that can be used. Even Wii reports. I mean, I don't even have to tell you about what cable companies do. We'll zip past that. Easy Pass, Metro cards. Anytime you travel and you use a device, it reports your location. And I'm sorry I have to zip through this quickly, but this is all being filmed, so you'll be able to watch it on YouTube and do this at your own speed. Check-ins, don't do check-ins. Cell phones, this is the main thing. Cell phones are with you 24/7, 365. They're never turned off. They go into the bathroom with you. They go into the shower with you. You're having sex, the phone is on the nightstand. That phone is always within an arm's reach. And you are using it to browse and to use apps and to send email. It's reporting your location, it's reporting your activities. It knows who's important to you from the phone calls. If I have your phone, I own you. It's that simple. I have your phone, I own you. And the location is now being tracked down, not just to a GPS location within 40 feet, but what floor of a building you're on. Are you standing in front of a certain item in a supermarket aisle or a department store aisle? And what did you do? 45% of apps report location. 45% of apps report location. How many people remember the flashlight app? The flashlight app does nothing but make your screen glow. It's a flashlight. But flashlight grabbed app permissions, including your storage, your location, your camera, your phone calls, your address book, everything, in return for making your screen glow. This is the poster boy for intrusive apps, but it's not unusual. Wi-Fi reports 1,000 connections back. Wi-Fi knows everywhere you've ever been from what Wi-Fi nodes you've hit and what routers you've hit. Apple admits it. You go to your control panel. Location services uses crowdsourced hotspot locations to determine your approximate location. Don't turn it off. We want to know where you are. Apple admits it. Nobody cares. Every single location is geocoded. Every single location is geocoded. How do you think it is? You're driving in a new car. You say, I need gas. Find the nearest gas station. You hit the button. The device knows where you are, and it knows where all the gas stations are. Goes there. If you are standing at a location, I know if it's a strip club or a university or an abortion clinic or a mosque under surveillance or whatever. If I know where you are at any given point in the day, I know who you are. And that's why Snowden's whole metadata thing resonated so much with everyone, because people, for a nanosecond, started thinking about it. Now, by the way, one comment about Snowden, I won't tell you what I think about him, but I'll tell you what I think about people who were shocked that the government knows the location of your cell phone. I mean, they should have, when you buy a ticket to the Hope Conference, they should have only one question. Was Snowden's metadata a revelation to you? If you click yes, you shouldn't be allowed a ticket. Really? People in here didn't know that the government knows where your cell phone is? I mean, it suddenly pissed you off because it was shoved in your face. Pissed me off too, and this is why. But Uber does it. Sleazy Uber. I really need a ride. I can't get a taxi cab. Yeah, so we're going to charge you 3 times as much. These guys know where you are. They had a thing, they actually had a label called the Drive of Shame, that if you went to a location at night and you were picked up from the location in the morning, they actually called it the Drive of Shame. They know where you are. This is what they call their God view. Open source Wi-Fi, if I have your Wi-Fi location, I know what's there. I know it's a router in a strip club or in the FBI office. So what did I say? This is Navtech showing, okay, express mail drop, parking lot. Every location is geocoded. Every address is geocoded. Anything Google Maps work. It's possible to bust criminal conspiracies. I wish I could go through this, but I ran a little too long. I can tell, are you meeting with bad guys and doing bad things with bad guys just from your Wi-Fi activity. This is what your Wi-Fi activity looks like. I know exactly where you are all the time. Google knows exactly where you are all the time. I can find what's going on at a location. Let's say I'm a suppressive government. I want to know who is attending an Occupy Wall Street rally. Not a problem. I know every cell phone that's there. I know every Twitter feed that's active there. I know every Google Photos that's being used there. I know every Facebook Messenger that's being used there. I know every Wi-Fi hit that's being used there. I don't have to send a single cop. I don't have to send a single intelligence agent taking pictures. Your cell phone's there? Now, I'd like to see one day a guy go with like a knapsack of 50 cell phones and fool people. But believe me, it wouldn't work because they would know from domain awareness that there were only 3 people there with knapsacks. This is people at a military location. This is people tweeting. This is people tweeting from secure military bases being outed. The wall of military sheep. By location. Look, I use this all the time. I did this last time, so T-Prophet got mad and then he understood why I did it. Anybody who was tweeting by Hope, about the Hope Conference, last Hope Conference, I grabbed their geodata. Tweets reported. You're at a rally, you tweet the rally, I know you were there. Another guy, Hope. He tweeted from his house. I got a picture of his house. Every tweet, by the way, along with all the data, is at the Library of Congress. Every tweet, never goes away. Tweets by location, right here. All the tweets in this area a couple of weeks ago. All the Google Earth photos by geography in this area. I guarantee you, one of you guys was taking pictures and taking pictures of other guys. If I spend enough time on the internet, I can probably get 2/3 of the photos that were taken at this event. Commercial use of cellular tracking, selling items. Have you gone to a foreign country? A bad foreign country. Trump will be using this. Where do you spend time? What are your activities? Verifying your identity. This is soon going to be used by credit card companies. Bob's phone is in Brooklyn, but his credit card is being used in Lagos, Nigeria. What's wrong with that picture? And so on and so on and so on. It's the sell you stuff. And people can grab this and amalgamate everything. Your cell phone activity, your tweets, your iPhone, your web browsing, everything, all into one report. All into one report. There are services that do this. This is a tweet this is a ping that I ran. We found a dead girl in her car in a suburb of Dallas. She disappeared. Nobody could find her for 24 hours. What happened is she bought a 6-pack of beer, and she was in the car. Her phone was plugged in her car. She drank the whole 6-pack while she was sitting there. Car ran out of gas. Air conditioner died. She cooked to death in her car while she was drunk. But we found her because of the cell phone ping. Apple is on the list of the worst offenders. What they gather on you for iAds. Now, by the way, they tell you that they're shutting down iAds. They're shutting down iAds. Believe me, they're still selling ads. You are to a granular level. Everything you do, it's an iPhone, and a lot of it is reporting back to the mothership. Even something as simple as if you're using an Apple time server, if it's setting your date and your time on a browser, it's reporting your activity and that you're doing something. Phone is a loyalty card, a payment device, that's a big thing now. A barcode reader, store guide, eBay or Amazon portal, manufacturer syncing, retail object recognition, sending data to a manufacturer, locator beacons, never turned off, never. Turn off the phone and I'll kill you. Remember that movie? Shanghai, where unfortunately I'm going to be working, so I got to worry about this, now has citywide tracking of every cell phone. I'm bringing a Google Fi that I'm going to register it as Zuckerberg. All right, marketers, I'm going to touch on this for 2 seconds, then I'm going to do Internet of Things, then I'll have time for about 10, 15 questions. I'm running late. I'm not going to have time for everybody's questions. I will stick around and talk to anybody. If I got to stay here till midnight, I'll do it, and I'm here tomorrow too. Huh? What? Okay, where are the Canadian movie guys? Oh, they're going to meet me there? Okay, so after this, I'm going down to the 6th floor, to the press room, to terrorize Canadian filmmakers. You can come and help me do it, and I'll answer your questions. I expect to have the contents of their cell phone by midnight. Okay, so marketers on the lowest, most rawest level are gathering information on you from every check-in, every registration, every 800 number call, every product survey, everything. It all goes into a file. Anybody who hasn't heard about Axiom, ACXIOM, research it. Scariest outfit out there. Makes Google look like amateurs, and that's not hyperbole, because they've been doing it for 40 years. They got your grandmother's file, they got your mother's file, they got you. They're building a file on your kid. How do you think it is your wife goes to an obstetrician or you go to an obstetrician? You checked up baby health. 2 months later, you start getting coupons for diapers. How do you think that happens? Magic? Because they're gathering it even at doctor's offices. Everything. These things make a difference for them selling you stuff. Everything. And everything you do and everything you buy tells me something about you. If you buy a business magazine, you're interested in business topics. Duh. If you buy a gun magazine, you're interested in guns. You probably own a gun. Duh. You buy a magazine about Jewish issues. You're Jewish, or you're interested in Jewish issues or Israel or whatever. All of these are duh, but nobody thinks about what they read and what they browse. Tells me, it gives me a window into your soul. It really does. I know everything about you. There's even a magazine for people who are HIV positive. If you have this if you subscribe to this magazine, either you or somebody you care about is HIV positive. They have sucker lists. This is the saddest list ever. Astrology Success. Astrology Success customers have responded to a direct mail solicitation offering angelic intervention as a means of achieving financial and personal success. Give me money, I'll have an angel pray for you. 55,000 people. You notice that list exists for only one purpose. Info USA, they have lists like suffering seniors, old people with cancer. We'll help you write your will, Grandpa. Legal services. I mean, it's horrible. Oldies but goodies. 500,000 gamblers over the age of 55. You want a home equity loan, Grandpa? And it's all pulled together, everything from all the sources. Physical purchases, magazine subscriptions, web browsing, inquiries, everything. It's this sieve, direct mail, call center, install, website, email, display, mobile, text, everything. Everything is analyzed and it builds a profile of you down to your DNA. Down to your DNA. Google is trying very, very hard to beat these people on the cheap. These guys invest gazillions of dollars in money, and they sell mailing lists and marketing lists. This is what Google wants to be when it grows up. And in fact, they do swap outs with social networking. If you want to buy a list of Facebook people, LinkedIn people, MySpace people, Twitter people, they'll sell it to you. Are you an investor? What's your income? What's your ethnic group? What's your racial code? All of it they know. Orthopedic, allergy, arthritis, senior needs. What malady do you have? Everything. Homes, adults, expectant parents. They know. Your mother may not know you're pregnant. They know. That's literally true. Platinum oldies, old people with money to waste. Hard charges. People are out there working their butts off. Kids with clout. Kids of affluent parents. We can't suck at the parents? The kid may have a credit card. It's shameful. It's shameful. Axiom. Look them up. Gay marketing, black marketing, Jewish marketing. They know everything about you and they pigeonhole it. I wish I could talk more about this, but I can't. I will tell you, by the way, one of the best sources for skip trace data is Domino's and Papa John's and the pizza companies. 10 minutes? Yeah, maybe. All right. I got to go to Internet of Things because it's the creepiest thing ever. All right, hold on. Okay, first, de-anonymization. I want to tell you, de-anonymizing you is not a problem. You may think I don't know who you are when you use your cell phone or you use a browser, and I apologize, this is actually important. I should have allowed more time for this, but browser fingerprinting is a thing. I can look at your browser, I can look at your hardware, and I know it's you, even if you don't log in and you don't authenticate. Remote physical device fingerprinting. This is a PhD thesis. Device fingerprinting, there's a guy who has 1 billion of them already who sells them. Panopticlick. Panopticlick is a little bogus, but it's a good example of what happens. It shows you have unique fonts. What operating system are you using? What browser are you using? What fonts do you have loaded? What add-ons do you have loaded? Each thing that they can look at makes you more and more and more unique. There may be 1, 2, 3 terminals that have that profile, and that's it. All of the various things. Now, it's possible to browse to fingerprint a device by how you use your mouse. And think about that. That'll bust even through Tor. I mean, Tor is not wonderful. Tor, you have problems with remote downloading of whatever. Anyway, look, this will bust through anything, and this will de-anonymize you even remotely. Mouse wheel fingerprinting, benchmarks, so on and so forth. Audio fingerprinting. Your audio stack is unique. I can tell, possibly, if it's your computer, if I'm able to get something over there to analyze your audio stack. I mean, completely unique fingerprint of every computer. Cookies, browsing history, download history, embedded graphics, micro pages, the little tiny 1 pixel size graphics they send you, passwords, personal data, URL conduct. Listen, we are all creatures of habit. If you browse like Bob, I know you're Bob, even if you're on another machine. Flash cookies, forensic linguistics. I'm rushing through this like mad, but let me tell you, forensic linguistics is a real thing. I don't care. Forensic linguistics is a thing. I got 50 guys against your 8 guys. He's showing me a 5, so I got to hustle. But I can tell who you are from your writing style. Do you use certain words that are unique to you? Do you use certain punctuation that's unique to you? It got an assistant U.S. attorney fired who was blogging in a ridiculous way. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter's author, put out a couple of murder mysteries. People couldn't figure out who it was. They ran the first one through forensic linguistics. It matched the Harry Potter books so closely, they confronted her and she fessed up. It was really her. You may post some rant on the internet that you think you've done anonymously. I compare it to your other rants on the internet, and I know it's you. And by the way, pedophile being arrested just by his postings through forensic linguistics. Okay. We're going to fast forward through a lot of really, really cool stuff. By the way, 2 new technologies that are going to allow identification of you even better. HTML5 and Internet Protocol version 6, because the processing language is going to allow for all kinds of trickery, to put it as concisely as possible. And Internet Protocol version 6 is going to allow assigning IP addresses to every frickin' device in the universe. Okay. Internet of Things. Internet of Things is a term developed by Petraeus when he was director of the CIA, and it's talking about everything is a computer. And everything is a computer. Smart cars, smart homes, smart watches, health monitoring. Everywhere you are, everything you do, everywhere you go, something is watching you and spying on you. Could be your oven, could be your thermostat, could be your light bulb, and it's reporting to the mothership. And all of these devices are snitching you out. Here's a guy who put an energy meter in his house. And this is the first case that I saw, so I use it. This is what made the light bulb go off over my head. He told his daughter in Australia, listen, you're 17 now. I'm leaving you in the house. No parties. No parties. Leave the lights off. Just you. Nobody. And he had a remote energy reporter, smart meter, in the house that he could log into. He's gone for 24 hours. Boom. He calls the house. He says, listen, I know you're having a party. And she fessed up. This is just a taste. You have smart milk jugs telling you the milk is spoiled. I mean, you can't figure this out for yourself. You need a jug with a computer? But it tells you. It tweets you. Your milk is spoiled. Okay, fine. Leave me alone, jug. I'll get some more milk on the way home. Smart oven. I mean, I'm at work. What's the first thing that I think of? I'm at work. I'm on a surveillance. I better preheat my oven, so I can log on. Smart thermostats, all connected to the mothership. How do I know that? How does everybody know that? Because when the thermostats had a flaw that allowed people to shut them off when there was smoke, if they did it the second time, people's houses started to burn down. So they remotely disabled the feature in every nest. Thermostats. It knows if you're home or not. I know. Thermostats. Okay. The worst parents in the world buy this. You get tweeted if your baby's diaper is wet. You get a tweet on your phone. Change your baby. What kind of terrible parent are you? Barbie. Barbie can now have a conversation with a kid. Little lonely kid, fantasy life, talking to the doll. Oh, Barbie, I really like little Freddie in my class. And Barbie says, oh, Freddie must be a nice boy. And little kid with the Barbie thinks, oh, this is a sentient being. It's not. It's reporting to the mothership. It is a Wi-Fi connected Barbie. So as I tell people, oh, isn't that cute? Baby's first wiretap. And it really is. Okay. So, fitness watch. Woman claims she was raped. They grabbed her fitness watch report. She was sitting around all day. They charged her with filing a false police report. True. On the other hand, you have Fitbit leaked sexual activity. These are actual screenshots. General, moderate effort. Started at 12 o'clock, Lasted for 30 minutes. Okay, next one. General moderate effort. Okay, still not a stud. Keep looking, ladies. Active, vigorous effort. $20, I'll give you a screen name. The one at the bottom, sad, friend zone, passive, light effort, kissing, hugging. Frickin' whatever. This is a real thing. I'm not making this up. I'm going to go like 2-3 minutes over. That's it. Really. This is a mattress manufactured in Spain that reports activity on the mattress. If your partner isn't faithful, at least your mattress is, and it'll tell you. These are actual screenshots. You can go to their ad. Mattress is being used. Warning, warning. Smart mattress will warn you. Speedometer. Oh man, that must be the pool boy. Intensity and impact per minute. I promise you this is for real. Look it up. This is a mattress that reports sexual activity if you think your significant other is bada bing, bada boom. If your partner isn't faithful, at least your mattress is. Network trash cans. Hey, I want to go grab their trash. Big thing for private investigators. Let me check the Wi-Fi. I'm not going to drive all the way out there. Okay. I don't understand the concept of an internet-enabled rectal thermometer. I just want to say, since I'm with a room full of hackers, you could really make somebody your bitch with this. I take that, I apologize for parents who just covered their little kids' ears on the video there. A hackable rectal thermometer. You know, you're governed by your own imagination. Okay. All of you know about Shodan, right? It is the Internet of Things search engine. You go out, you search, and you find gazillion open cameras. Here's somebody sleeping, somebody in the living room, somebody in a nursery, so on and so forth. Why? Because all the privacy settings on these things are set to the lowest level, and they assume you're never going to notice, and most people don't. So, we are now done. Quick recap, and then I'm going to take he's saying 1 minute. I'm going to take a couple of quick questions. How do we do this? Is there a mic for people? Okay. Come on, let me take a couple of questions. Let me take a couple of questions here. Because not everybody's going to go down there. Okay. First of all, if you are involved in security, law enforcement, investigations, take a look at Fraternal Order of Investigators. I am the education chairman. We do a 5-day version of this with a bunch of instructors besides me. 5 days open source intelligence, a day at a time. We do a ton of training, a ton of networking. We give you free booze, which is probably all most of you need to know. Take a look at that. Somewhere is my contact information. That is my private, super secret, personal information that I only share with 200,000 of my closest friends. Those really are the legitimate contact points. If your fingers are broken and you can't write it down, go to Polorium.com and get it. If that doesn't work, I'll give you my business card down at 6. I'm going to take 5 questions because they're getting out like a big hook and, okay. You couldn't have done that before? after the movie and the Q&A. No, those are somebody's sunglasses. They were screwing around with them. Sixth floor press room.
I'm holding it down here. Wait, are you staying? Yeah, I'll be right back. You staying?